Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. Welcome to the Giant Bombcast, episode 807. I think it's 7. I have it written down as 7. Welcome to Giant Bombcast, powered by NZXT. I am your host, Jan Ochoa. Joining me, co-captain of the ship, he salutes only to Major Mitch, Chef Grubb.
I also salute your shorts. Don't forget that. Don't ever forget that. I won't ever forget it.
Thank you. Thank you. Speaking about shorts, he's this season. We're proud to announce that Jeff Baclar is going to start rocking nothing but exclusively 3-inch inseam cotton gray shorts. Jeff Baclar.
He can pull it off.
I don't know if I could pull off the 3-inch.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd maybe have an eclipse situation popping up there if I did such a thing with my wardrobe. Nope, the season of joggers is upon us, my friends, and I am jumping into that feet first because that's how you put pants on.
That's just how you put on pants. Yep.
Pants aficionado Tamor Hussein rounding out the crew today.
I need you to wait here for 1 minute. Don't say anything. I'll be back. Okay.
We didn't.
No one say anything.
Okay, we didn't prepare for this. I just, all this dead air.
I swear to God, if I get another clone situation,
They're gonna put in 48
jump
ads
off this
right now.
podcast.
What's gonna happen? Okay.
All right.
He's back.
I've returned.
Did he poop? He pooped.
Okay. All right.
You
want to
all
see some
right?
shorts? You want to see some shorts? I'll show
Oh,
you.
hell yeah. Let's go.
All right.
What? Okay. Showing us a pair of
Okay, he's holding up.
black.
There they go.
Oh,
This is some Kojima bullshit.
Yeah, that looks good.
Look
my
at
God.
those fucking shorts, baby.
look at
Oh,
that.
my God.
You suddenly
The
are
envy.
able to become invisible inside a cardboard box and
Those are some
carry
shorts.
an obscene amount of boxes on your back.
Do those shorts have like a PSP pocket? Like, can you fit
Oh
one?
God, I wish they're so comfy as well.
Are they?
They're
Looks like a terrible amount of screen printing on your shorts there. They're
the
making them
fuck
heavier.
do you know about shorts? What, you shorts expert all of a sudden?
Just saying.
That's how I
am a,
introduced him. It's the season of the shorts.
yeah, and I am a t-shirt expert, and I feel like
you introduced him and saying it's the season of the shorts, and this motherfucker said it's jogger season.
That's
well,
true.
it's approaching. It's fast approaching. Is what I said. But
Come on,
I just feel like a lot of print on shorts is
it's actually not. It's actually
not
really high quality print. I'm excited at the fact that I know that when I watch these, it's not.
Oh, it's going to fall apart.
No, it's
Sure.
not. It's not. I can
it's
feel
not.
based on the way it feels.
Oh,
it'll be
it's
fine.
not going to disintegrate? Okay, I'm happy for you.
Oh.
I feel like it will disintegrate eventually, but not
Sure, it
immediately.
always does.
I mean, that's
You know
all
what I
of
mean?
us, really, right? We're all gonna disintegrate
Yeah.
eventually.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
Jan.
bought like a bunch of Metal Gear apparel recently. Clearly all bootlegged, but you know what?
Yeah.
Konami.
I love bootleg merch. Like, I love going to a big concert and then seeing vendors afterwards selling like, hey, it's the official merch. And everything's like slightly askew. Or it's like,
Yeah.
they would never sell Taylor Swift would never sell a poop brown t-shirt with her face
No.
on it.
You know what?
real-
I just went into my email to type in Metal Gear Solid shorts to try and figure out, remind myself who I purchased or where I purchased this from. It was from a company, and I instead received a reminder saying that, or an email saying that I ordered the Metal Gear Solid board game
Oh,
from the company Come On, which I imagine was via Kickstarter, and I clicked the link, and it takes me to a 404 page.
oh,
where
that
it
bodes well.
okay,
um,
okay. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
sometimes
Fly-by-night
when
operations.
sometimes when the campaign ends, it takes a little bit of time to reconnect the wires, right? We know about.
I haven't heard a single email from them since.
Okay. That's probably a good thing. Maybe about
Kojima caught up to him.
Speaking about board
Yeah.
games, my poor partner, in the thick of it, in her first official year of teaching, we're at the Barnes and Noble, right? And she was like, "Hey, let's go buy that bird game that everyone's talking about."
What's
I don't-
that?
There's a bird board game right now that's blowing up amongst our friends and acquaintances. I believe it's called Wingspan. And then I look at her and I tell her, it's like, hey, we're going to buy this game and we're never going to fucking play it. You're going to make me learn how to play this game and we don't hang out with anyone but you, me, and the dog. no one's gonna play this with us. And she like excitedly was holding onto it, clutching it in her arms, and then she quietly put it back.
Oh, this looks good.
And then I saw her opening up TikTok of like how to play Wingspan and just quietly scrolling.
I'm looking at videos of this, and I'm not being rude, but this is a board game about birds.
It is.
It is.
Why would that be rude? Birds are fucking cool, man.
I don't know. He's right.
I just want to emphasize. This is a board game about birds.
All right.
Like there are cards.
If I walked in a room and I saw someone playing that, I would walk out of that room being like, "That dude is into birds. That dude loves birds."
The only thing worse than walking into a room and seeing a bunch of people playing board games is a board game about birds.
I don't know. I'm going to push back here. I think
actually,
we all
hold on. There is a card for the crow. I'm all turned around on this. I'm in.
I just think we all do a poor job of respecting birds. Birds are really
terrified
cool.
of birds.
They're super dope.
I got a big crane that's in the pond right in my backyard, and I see him all the time, and I'm just like, I'm never gonna fuck with you. You would just destroy me. You're a dinosaur. You're like 7 feet tall.
Yeah. I do respect that you did say like, we're not. I have shelves in case it wasn't clear. I do like board games a lot. I have shelves of board games that I purchase and then never play. But so I respect that.
I think I saw one of those wrapped in plastic too.
Mate, a lot of them are wrapped in plastic.
And then she was saying like, "Oh, maybe I could teach my students how to play." I'm like, no. This is not how this is gonna happen.
I'm getting this.
It comes with little bird houses.
Yeah, I'm getting this.
Bird feeder dice tower, a component for Wingspan. Okay.
If you want to get further into bird lore, I suggest looking up the song by the Sweat Shop Boys, SWET, Birding.
Man, you put little eggs on the cards?
Firstly, I would just like to say, Sweatshop Boys, I did not think that I would be hearing a reference to the Sweatshop Boys today. I did not think that I would be hearing it from Jan on the Bombcast.
I love He-Man Shoe, dude.
Wait, which Sweatshop Boys are you talking about?
Oh, Heems? Who are you talking
about?
Okay,
cool, yeah. Heems and Riz MC. Riz MC, who you may know, people may know him as Rizwan Ahmed.
Yes.
From Star Wars.
Oh, really?
Various other things. Yeah, he originally came up as a rapper and a good one.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, he's incredible. I wish that I wish that he would look at me once in my life.
Aw.
We'll arrange it. We'll dress you up as a bird. We'll all be birds.
The second thing I want to say is, I regret to inform you that I have purchased Wingspan, the board game.
Wingspan cut the check, dang it.
Yeah, seriously.
You're welcome.
All right.
Finally, Wingspan gets a break. 2019 Game of the Year winner, I guess. All right. Good for you.
Maybe we'll play Wingspan. Oh, okay. Tam's out of battery.
Yeah, it happens.
I don't think his camera. Your camera doesn't have a battery.
My camera doesn't have battery. You've seen it now, so you know.
You don't have a dummy battery for it?
No, yeah, it's got a dummy battery, but like it's like
Not
I don't
working?
understand. No, it's fine. It's always working. It's just
there you go.
All right. Before we move on to games, I just have a quick complaint or bants. I guess.
Please, right. I'm ready to hear it. Let's go.
Yeah. So I bought the Sony FX30 like around, I believe, earlier this year, and I thought it would serve me well because we occasionally travel for this job, right? And then I shoot the videos for it. Let me tell you, during PAX, using this camera was incredibly frustrating because Tam and Grub, you can attest, would see me just start cussing out of nowhere and throwing my hands up in the air because this camera would randomly just shut off and restart.
Was it a temperature issue?
I thought it was. It was not.
Was it a skill issue?
I thought it was not. And all throughout PAX would start, stop, no reason, no discernible reason, right? I take it.
There was one moment where, this is after the camera had proved to be useless, where you dropped the camera.
Yes, on your foot.
And as it was falling, my foot wasn't in the way. And very quickly in my mind, I saw this camera falling, and I thought I could either put my foot in the way and stop this, or I could not. or I could not and I almost did not because I thought this camera has been utterly useless for us. So why am I putting my foot in the way and potentially
once your foot
damaging it?
is in the way, it's like the trolley problem, right? Now, if it's broken now, did your foot contribute? Are you responsible for the problem?
Yeah, I did put my feet in the way, and I basically caught it in before it hit the ground proper in between my 2 feet.
Like a hacky sack?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wait, so well, thank you for saving the camera, Tam. But Jam, what's the problem? Like, where do we go from here?
I've tried looking up on several threads, but the thing I want to update folks on is for no reason I've used the same card, official batteries, high-speed SD card, and everything, and I bumped it down to 1080 even though I'm supposed to be able to shoot in 4K. Took it out this weekend because there was a little corgi convention.
Yeah.
Out in like the heat, completely fine.
It sounds like I'm gonna say like some sort of power connection issue. Like it's a hardware thing. It's gotta be. It's not just gonna restart for no reason and then work fine.
Did you take a picture of a ghost? Is the camera haunted now?
I mean, we saw Mike Minotti, and that man is always haunting us.
I will say, Jan was like trying everything in front of us. Like it was bizarre. So
it might just be the battery connection, not, I don't know. Have them replace it. They're good with that.
But what I was going to get to is like, man, sometimes I think I'm just going to use a fucking phone. I'm just going to buy a burner phone.
Yeah.
Just going to buy a burner.
I don't
Sony
recommend
one,
that at all.
Just do that.
Maybe like I have the latest and greatest Apple phone.
Wow, real cool.
Easily the worst camera I have ever used in my life. Apple, if there's anything that you can definitely guarantee and bet on for Apple, they'll give you the shittiest camera possible. My previous phone, the camera was so bad that I went into an Apple store and I was like, take a picture of this camera and tell me what you see. And they took a picture and I was like, take your phone out and take a picture. And they took a picture and they looked at both things and they were like, yeah, your camera looks fucked. And I was like, why is it like this? And they were like, I don't really know. Let's run a bunch of tests. They ran a bunch of tests and they were like, everything seems to be fine. I think the camera is just bad. And I was like, okay, cool. What can you do about that? And he looked in my eyes, smiled and said, nothing.
What?
Wow.
I didn't replace it?
You think that might have been because you were so fucking mean to them?
No, I think it's because Apple is a racist company.
Oh, well, I mean, come on. That's why. And it trickles down to everyone down to the Genius Bar. They still have Genius Bars? Is that?
I think
so.
there's still.
Is that a thing?
I don't think.
Actually, that problem.
I will say the man was eventually like very apologetic and was like, "I'm really sorry that we can't do anything about this." And I was like, "Fair play, it's not your fault." I do have a bunch of Apple products that do work, but the cameras are like shite. I think what has happened is based on my research is the hardware is good.
Yes.
But then they layer on software, camera software, post-processing, this kind of other stuff that turns it into the dog shittest camera on market. I bought a expensive separate digital camera to take pictures, which is inconvenient as fuck. I love how this company started with bringing convenience to like the mobile phone environment. And now they're the most infuriatingly inconvenient hardware devices to use, especially when it comes to cameras.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of loving this.
Calm down over there.
We both have
Butter.
pixels back. All our phones are good cameras. Like that's about it. Yeah. That's about what they do, and that's it.
The inverse is true with those phones, though, where like the camera hardware is arguably inferior, but the camera processing software is so much better, and the phones are, I think, just more fun to use. But that's a preference thing.
So
I don't think I've had fun using a phone in like 5 years. I think it's just
maybe fun's the wrong word, but
well, that's why I'm thinking about getting like a burner Xperia phone, just to like shoot S-Log on a phone because that sounds hilarious.
That's hilarious. That is crazy.
That. Why wouldn't you just get a good camera instead of a burner phone?
Because Tam, the other issue I ran into, I am sick. Yes. It just, I waited months for this camera bag to come into back into stock. Hate it. I waited so long for this camera. I hate it.
See, I have the FX3 and I love it. So I think you got a lemon. I would really get on the horn with Mr. Sony and be like, yo, like something ain't right about this. RMA my shit. Let's go.
I think you should swap it for a new one, and if it still sucks, just be like, "Yo, this camera sucks, man," and then just get a refund and
I'm
get
just
a
gonna
different
go back
camera.
to camcorders.
I bought a Lumix.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's great. They're wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, Paul Graham, let me tell you, that is a point of mild frustration for some people. All right, let's talk about video games.
All right.
Tam, you are more Mr. Worldwide than actual Pitbull.
Dale.
Exactly. Because you can't stop, won't stop.
Won't stop.
Residencies all over the place because
Mhm.
you recently went to Los Angeles to check out
The city of angles.
City of Angles. So many sharp angles, 45s, 90s,
many.
180s.
Every block, there's a 90 degrees.
It's wild. But you checked out for a little bit 19 inches of Venom and Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
Ooh, I got all up in those 19 inches, baby.
Is that the subtitle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. So went to LA to check out the first playable demo that I've ever seen anyone have of Marvel's Avengers. Weird thing was I forgot that that we used to have events like this where went to a place and it was like really cool. They had set up, like, I don't want to talk about the stuff outside of the game, but it's only noteworthy to me because of how weird it was being there. It was like there was a nice space that they had decorated and made to look like it was Dr. Kurt Connor's lab and like
cool
and little museum area.
Stop! No!
Yeah.
What'd you just say, Bacalar?
I think I just got Disney brain. You know?
Because when's the last time they did this for one of their games, Insomniac? That E3, like, getting shuffled from one thing to the next, the thing that you famously hate, that was decorated like
that is a
Spider-Man.
much different thing. Oh my gosh!
It was also very cool.
No, it was not, because we were being herded like sheep and cattle, and it was very close quarters.
Would that event have been different if you knew Grubb and Minotti at the time?
Oh yes, we would have got you through that.
Well, obviously, it would have made it more tolerable. I mean, I was with my good friend producer Mark, but like,
you could have enjoyed the moment that what's his name, who's the director of
Mike Minotti.
The director of not Uncharted, but their other one, Neil
Druckmann.
You could have been there when Neil Druckmann rolled his eyes really hard at me and Mike when we were introduced.
How did you, Jeff Grubb, who works in the video game industry, forget both Last of Us and Neil Druckmann?
That's
pretty
funny.
easily. I have a bad brain. It's just a shit brain.
I've got a pretty bad brain as well, but still.
But you understand the difference between like walking into a place with a cool Spider-Man statue and then what the fuck was E3 2018?
I'll tell you what I remember about that E3 mostly is like walking around in the decorated New York Spider-Man setting. That's what I remember. I do remember being shuffled around. I'm just like, man, this is what they do. These companies are so weird. Whatever. And then I got outside and it's like, ooh, look, there's the Daily Bugle or whatever the hell it's called and all that stuff. And that was cool.
Tell me about the Spider-Man. Tell me, I need to know. How is Miles?
How's the running around?
Both Spider-Man there. Like they had Miles and Peter like side by side, and it was really cool. And I took a picture with them, and I was like, I probably won't post this anyway. Anyways, and then we played the game. So we played about 2-ish hours of the game.
Oh wow,
2.5 hours of the game.
That's a lot.
They just threw us into the middle of the game, which was good and not bad, but like tricky because obviously we didn't have a lot of like context for some things, but they were like, hey, we'll tell you the necessary bits and pieces, so you should be good. So they did good on them for providing that. But yeah, it's really weird. So I wrote a preview, kind of pseudo preview up. It was more of like a kind of quick crash course on the swinging and that kind of stuff, and then I pushed to a video that me and Lucy did. But as part of the preview, I said like, this is more of the same. And there's no way for that to not come out negative. So I had to like kind of remind everyone in that preview. When I say more of the same, what I'm saying is more of one of the best superhero games ever made. Like two of the best superhero games ever made. If you talk about Spider-Man, Marvel's Insomniac's Spider-Man, and Miles Morales, and that is like something to be excited about, as opposed to being like, oh
Right,
no,
what's
it's
the
just doing the
alternative?
same shit. Yeah, exactly.
You would make the swinging worse. Like that's
Yeah.
how you change it up.
While we're talking about this, there's some freaks online that I keep seeing, and they're like, wow, same animations. And I would like to ask them, when you wake up in the morning, do you have a new way of walking to work
I got a new
every day
today? I'm gonna try some new things out with my stepping.
Trying high knees.
I love the idea of these absolute freaks being like, I cannot believe he swings the exact same way. It's like, yeah, he's Spider-Man. He does. This
Still
is how he
Spider-Man.
does his swinging. Okay, he doesn't invent new ways of swinging every day so that
It's a testament to how
the
right they
Kingpin
got
doesn't
it.
make fun of him. Yeah,
Yeah.
They got it so right with that game. They should keep it.
Funnily enough, he doesn't swing exactly the same way. They're like, there's a little more to it. Like on Peter's side, he's now the part where we played. He has the symbiote suit, so his swinging is different in terms of how he's animated. It's a little more like, it feels less kind of finessed, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Okay.
Which makes sense because he's got the symbiote suit and he doesn't need to worry about that shit. He's just like stomping his way through it. But he does have, like, if you switch over to like the black suit or one of his other suits, he does have a little more of that Miles kind of personality and flair from Miles Morales, where, you know, when you started swinging at Miles, my man was doing pirouettes and backflips and cool shit, and he's got a bit more of that now. And they also both have, so there's, before I'm gonna jump around a bit, but like they have skill trees. There's a Miles skill tree, there's a Peter skill tree, and then there's a shared skill tree where if you unlock an ability on that skill tree, both Spider-Men get it. And on those, some of those are traversal abilities. I believe one of them is like, so one of my favorite ones is you can like pinball yourself off two buildings almost.
I'm sorry, what?
Like, yeah, you heard me. You can like, you do the thing where you fire on one side of the street, fire on the other side of the street, and then run back and use the tension to kind of launch yourself a bit, and it's like really cool. It's
nice.
It's cool. It doesn't give you a lot of height, it gives you a lot of like distance, and I think it works with the new traversal element, which is the wingsuit. So spider wings, wings, whatever you want to call them, web wings, I think is what they officially call them.
Oh, so he's just going to be like a flying squirrel kind of situation?
Yes. So you can basically fly, like, in this game non-stop if you want.
Okay.
And I know what you're thinking. You're like, why would I swing if I can fly?
Yeah, just like a spider, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Yeah.
So initially I did feel like, why am I swinging instead of flying it everywhere? And I spoke to, I think it was the lead programmer, as part of an interview, and talked about it there. And yes, you can fly a lot, and there's also things now in the environment. They try to make it like, I'm going to use Arkham Knight to a degree. You know how in Arkham Knight, when activities started appearing in the world instead of just being like on a map, they started doing that a bit more, which is cool. But you can also find these like wind tunnels everywhere, which,
like
if you're in your
Fortnite.
Exactly like Fortnite,
the
video game Fortnite. No, so if you like pull out your web wings and you go into these kind of like air pocket canal tunnels, it will just kind of like glide you around places. However, outside of that, the wings are quite slow. Like, they're good for distance, but they are meant to be used as part of the overall traversal ecosystem, where it's like swing, use the dive, and then to kind of like build up momentum, and then swing last minute to send yourself launching back up into the air, and then do the wings to glide a bit or turn a corner,
and then pop your ultimate and have the music going on TikTok and get 5,000 viewers.
Exactly.
So Tam, you're not. So you had experience with using that. Did that break the illusion of Spider-Man for you? Like,
no.
That still cool.
You very quickly learn that it's way quicker to swing everywhere.
Right.
Okay.
I think that the reason they introduced it is, one, it's a nice little touch. Two, the area that you're playing is much bigger. They added 2 more boroughs to the game.
Those boroughs don't have skyscrapers, right?
They don't have skyscrapers. And remember in the last game or games where you'd be swinging and then you exit like the perimeter of the city and suddenly you're over a park and there's nothing to swing onto. So
you're like trying to get on a tree.
Yeah. So you're just point launching across this kind of park or over some water or something like that, this is basically the solution to that, where the moment you spin out, or you launch yourself off a building and there's nothing around you, you hit the wing button, you glide over it, and maybe you spot a point launch area in the middle, and you can use that to give yourself a little more momentum. It's actually very, very smart in a lot of ways. I also found it like there's times when you're like swinging and you're chasing someone or something like that, and it can very easily start to get out of control, where you're like, you know how you're like, oh, I'm trying to turn this way, but it's going this way, and like you have these situations where it's like, God damn it, I'm trying to catch this, and it's all like falling apart. It's very easy to just hit the wingsuit button and regain some control, kind of tilt yourself up, and then go back to swinging again, to like kind of like course correct. So it felt good. It felt really, really good. And they work it into like the fast travel system and all that kind of business, where you've probably seen the GIF now, where it's like you can basically fast travel at any point. And you can swap to the other Spider-Man, and it will like do the GTA thing, pull out and move to them. And they often will be mid wingsuit flight or like mid wings or swing or something like that, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And so like it's got like nice little animation touches to help it kind of create a smoother experience overall. But yeah, that part of it's really cool. I really enjoy the traversal. I mentioned that as a kind of big emphasis because I think a lot of people, if they're like the way I am with Spider-Man, I do it for Batman way more, but like for Spider-Man, I know there's a lot of people that even when they're finished with the game, they just leave it installed on there because every now and again they jump in, swing about for a bit, have a nice time, and be done with it.
Sure.
I feel like this is a really fun game. It's going to be a really fun game to just swing about once you're done. I imagine people are just going to have a really great time just moving around.
Spider-Man took that spot from Tony Hawk for me, where like I just left it installed, and like instead of just jamming out a level or just finding a combo, I would just swing around New York. Happy to hear. Okay.
Yeah,
it's cool.
And then the other major things are, so narratively, I don't want to talk too much about it.
Okay, then I have one question then.
Go on.
At any point, was there a subway sequence where Peter was knocked out by Doc Ock, and then they had to pass him back to the end of the train, and then one NPC just said, "He's just a boy"? No?
Wait.
Not with Peter.
You mean like
not with
that,
Peter.
You just want to see that... Isn't that...
Peter's a man. Although
he wants to see it every day. That's why he watches Spider-Man 2 every day.
I'm very, very happy to tell you they don't have that with Peter. They do have it with Miles.
Wait,
basically
they just
the same
recreate
thing.
That scene from the second movie?
It's in an office building, and like they lift him up and they move him over to the end, and then his mask is all ripped up, and they're like, "He's just a boy."
No, I don't believe you.
Yeah, I made that sharp. Of course not.
Oh man,
listen. Man. So here's my question, Tam, if you'll allow me to just surface this here. I really like these games. I really like Morales because I felt it was like a streamlined, almost watered down thing where like you weren't bombarded with map barf and all this other stuff. And I want to know like how it compares to that idea. I also want to know how it compares from the combat perspective, because I found myself being handcuffed a lot by like there being too many things you could possibly do with all your arsenal of moves and whatnot, and kind of just fell into a groove of like relying on the same maybe 3 to 4 things over and over again. I know that's a tough thing to like maybe speak to in the time you've had it, but what do you think about all that?
Yeah, so the first part of that, in terms of like the scale and scope of it, hard to say because obviously we had a very limited slice of the game. I will say, based on the feeling I got, it's not going to be as contained as Miles was. They treated it like almost like it was an extra game, but it was also a bit of an expansion, more focused. This is trying to tell a much bigger story. The ambition narratively means that by its very nature, it's going to be a bigger game and a little more unwieldy from a narrative perspective. Even now, you just look at everyone involved. You've got Miles, you've got Peter. They both have their own issues going on right now. Miles is having a bit of a crisis of confidence because he's writing his final essay before he goes off to university. And at the same time, he's in the situation where he's being forced through his life to really think about where he's going. And he's escaping that by being a Spider-Man, and he's kind of fixated on the idea that Martin Lee, Mr. Negative from the first game, who was spoilers for the first game of Spider-Man, who was responsible for the death of his father, is out there. So he's becoming a bit of a obsessive about catching his father's killer, which obviously you know that it can have like a corrupting impact on him. And the problem he's having on top of that is like his mentor, Peter Parker, is now, he has this new suit which is doing weird things and making him behave in different ways. But he's rediscovered Harry Osborn, his closest friend, and basically the closest thing he has to family, because spoilers for the first game, Aunt May is not around much anymore. So like now Peter's kind of also having a bit of a crisis of personality and confidence, because he's desperate to save his friend from an illness that he has. And he has the symbiote suit, which the symbiote suit is very good at twisting and amplifying the worst parts of you. So he's doing that. And then you have Kraven the Hunter, who's around as well. And Kraven's obviously looking for his hunt, and he's found now this giant lizard that is knocking about every now and then, and also a seemingly alien spider figure symbiote thing. So there's a lot of ingredients in this mix, and then you add in people like Rio Morales and Genki and all these other side characters who have their own kind of things going on and how they intersect, and you've got quite an elaborate story that is exciting, but it's definitely not going to be as focused as Miles is. But
okay.
I'm also like, we don't even know who Venom is yet. Like Eddie Brock isn't about, Flash Thompson's not about, like right. But they keep showing off a Venom who isn't Peter or Miles. So I mean, there's some obvious guesses.
Yeah, is there a reason to think it's not Harry Osborn? Because wasn't that the tease at the end of the first game?
I mean, it could be, but like it could be many. Like also, like
right.
the symbiote has been like other people as well. Like if I had to bet, I think it would probably end up being Kraven, but like because that's something that I don't believe Kraven's been the symbiote before.
No.
And I think that is in the same way that Insomniac wanted to mess with our expectations of a Doc Ock story in the previous game. I think this is a good opportunity for them to mess with, you know, the expectations for a Kraven and symbiote story by being like, oh, you've never seen Kraven the Hunter as a symbiote, so here he is.
J. Jonah Jameson?
I would never. I would love that.
That'd be cool.
Love that.
That'd be really
sick.
That would be so good. So that's that part of it. In terms of the combat part of it, there is a lot going on in it, and I think in this game there's more going on in it. So it can feel a bit overwhelming at times.
Mm-hmm.
So the combat hasn't changed much. It's still the same way that it was previously, like the Batman style combat, counter systems. You've got a little more mobility because you can web swing and that kind of stuff. But now there's like an extra layer of special abilities. So on top of the standard, both of them have two kind of ability pools. The first one is linked to their unique like spider powers. For Miles, it's his bioelectricity stuff that we had in the previous game. And then on top of that, he's got the tech. So he's got a technology element. The technology element is more about manipulating the environment or like the enemies in the environment and doing AoE stuff. So you'll use tech to be like, I'm going to stun everyone, it's going to chain, or I'm going to use this thing to launch everyone into the air. And then his bioelectricity stuff is where you get the most mileage out of his powers, whereas, you know, like doing damage to single people, like propelling yourself across the kind of arena using his bioelectricity stuff, the cool power stuff that he has. In a similar fashion, Pete has the similarly functioning technology side, but then on top of that, he has his symbiote venom powers. So a lot of that stuff is the kind of the replacement for his spider abilities, and it's what distinguishes him from Miles, which is I think is a really good move. His symbiote abilities are much harder hitting, and they're designed to do like max destruction almost.
It reminds me of Prototype from the trailers I've seen.
Yes, it's like the symbiote is not about finesse, it's not about precision, it's about doing damage, and it's about being aggressive, and that's what it does. You hit a button and it'll send out spindles, grab everyone, lift them into the air, and then slam them to the ground. It'll do the Marvel vs. Capcom thing where it's like you press a button and he'll like become this moving pool of like horrible symbiote liquid and gather everyone else up and then pop them into the air, and then you can like jump up there and do some damage. So those two exist, and everything's also like on a cooldown, and then you have different abilities that you can like quick slot in, and there's different abilities that you unlock through skill trees, so it can quickly become overwhelming, but there's enough in there for you to, I think, look at what you like, establish a style, and just stick to it.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is, like in the previous games, is similarly like there's a lot to do, but for me, I knew my focus was going to be launching and then immediately just like air web swing and air combos, because that is the way I wanted to do damage. So you can unlock everything and have that overwhelming amount of stuff, but then just look at, this is what I like, this is what I need to pin to basically into my memory to get the playstyle I want, and focus on that. And it's more optional than you need to do this stuff. There are a couple of things that are new that are definitely need, and you have to do them, which is, one, they have a new counter system. Everyone loves Sekiro. They have the Sekiro counter system. So they have the thing where certain enemies will do these attacks that the only thing you can do is counter them. I believe I only did it with Peter, so I'm not sure what the animation would be with Miles. I imagine it's bioelectric related, but with Peter, it's like he's not doing a finesse counter. He's just like tanking the damage and then lashing out with the symbiote, so like pushing back on it. And there's other attacks which are crushing attacks, which are, you cannot counter them, you just need to get out of the way. So those are like the symbol attacks in Sekiro, which is like unblockable. The issue with all this is, on paper, all works fine, great.
Good.
The readability of it is not great. There's like overlapping kind of signifiers of what's coming, and it becomes very, very, very messy at times. Because, for example, an attack that you need to counter is red, but so is an attack that is a projectile from an enemy that's far away. So you'll have the projectile beam coming at you, it's red, and you know it's coming from off screen, you don't really know. It's very easy to dodge, you just hit a button at the right time and you move out of the way, but it requires it requires an extra second of processing that is a bit annoying. And it's also like, red is the counter attack, which you can counter. Blue is the crushing attack, which you can't counter, which doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, blue is like a nice color, you know? This is a nice, you can collect this or be cool with this, but they want you to get out of it. Blue is somehow more of a danger than red, and it's like confusing in certain ways. Like, you'll get to it eventually, you'll build the flow of it, and you'll build the muscle memory. But right now, it just feels like a bit too much going on for a lot of people. It could be, I don't want to speak for everyone, but like on top of that, there's like other issues with it, that there's more enemies at the same time, and they're all coming after you, and it gets very busy to the point where I found myself satisfied by what I was doing, but not able to see and enjoy the animations of it. Yeah, because like Batman's great because you have certain enemies come at you, they're all kind of scared of him, so they come one at a time, and his animations are kind of like sharp and almost slower, where it's like he's gonna crack your arm, throw you on the ground, get on top, and then punch you, and you can see every phase of that, and every part of it feels like a crunchy Batman-esque moment. Spider-Man is all about being limber and moving around, and you want to see him like pirouetting and dodging and doing all these punch motions. And I don't feel like I got to enjoy that as much, because there's like shit flashing and there's characters all over the screen and that kind of stuff, which is a shame. But at the same time, it still felt good. Like, it still felt like a Spider-Man game, and it felt really satisfying to move around and use his powers and symbiote and that kind of stuff. So the combat is good. Readability is not great. And that readability extends to other parts of it. Something that Lucy pointed out after we finished is like the text doesn't delineate very well between who is speaking. It just like says Spider-Man, and there's sometimes two Spider-Men speaking, and then you have to look really close, and there's a very small face icon. Like, you get the red and blue one and it's Peter, you get the red and black one and it's Miles, but it's like at a glance it's very, very difficult to tell. I obviously can hear fine, and I am able to process that information easily. But some people who may have additional accessibility needs might have some issues with that, because, you know, they're looking at this tiny little thing from afar. If you have any sort of visual issues, like auditory issues, it could be a bit annoying for you. I don't know the full extent of the accessibility features that are available in this game yet. They did say that they're working on a bunch of implementing it and tweaking it. So my hope is like, and Insomniac and Sony, they're always on top of this stuff pretty well. So my hope is by the time it comes out, it will be taken care of. Maybe you can even increase the font size or the icon size or whatever it may be. But yeah, there's like a general readability issue that I struggled with. So I imagine that people who have more accessibility needs might as well. But otherwise, I honestly, like, it's weird to, as people who cover games, when we approach previews, we always take the tact of never make a final judgment on the game. That's why whenever you read a preview or hear a preview, you'll see everyone talking about being like, we had a limited slice of the game, so this is based on what we were shown there. Obviously not representative. But we try and like almost toe the line or sit on the fence about whether it's going to be good or bad. I mean, like, I'm not too worried. I feel okay about saying like this is probably going to be a very good game. Like it's like too big to fail. If they build on the original games, it's hard to imagine how they could screw it up to the point where this sucks now. Even if it is like okay, it's going to sell a bajillion copies and it'll be fine.
Just by virtue of like, there's enough time in between Morales and now.
Totally.
You could use this, it could be a carbon copy and they would still be fine. So
people with
I get your
PS5s
point.
are hungry for something to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be the biggest, it'll be one of the top selling PS5 games by the time this generation is done. If not by the end of next year, it will be like a smash hit, whatever. But it's important to also say, like, it looks like a quality game. It looks like a very well-made game. It looks like it's a game made by Spider-Man fans who are excited to be making a Spider-Man game ultimately. I'm excited to play it. As someone who is very much like burned out on the MCU, I still love Spider-Man, and I still love Marvel, and I still love comics. But that, like, Marvel on a TV and on movies is like absolutely dropping the ball for me. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, and all of this seems to suck straight booty. But this is an instance where I was like, oh yeah, I do like this stuff. I just need it to be done well, and it looks like it's going to be done well.
I want that feeling too, Tam. So I can't wait for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. While we still have you here, buddy, I think you'd be happy to learn that I've been very invested and really into.
I know what you're gonna say.
Lies of P.
Hell yeah.
Tam, I don't know what it is. I of course was interested in Elden Ring because the Zeitgeist was there. You were very excited about it. The whole staff was very excited about it. But I felt like I had to return to it afterwards. Like I got through Margit, did a couple more things, and then I dipped. But Lies of P, I haven't been able to put it down. I don't know, maybe it's just overall because it's not a giant, massive open world versus something more akin to a Bloodborne where you're just going through different avenues and streets, or maybe it's because the Disney poison in my brain is starting to activate and like, oh, cool, Pinocchio. Oh, look, it's a Geppetto. But it feels good. I've been enjoying this a lot. And as the on-staff expert, how do you feel about it?
So I think I tweeted about this.
Yes.
I'm a weird person when it comes to Souls-likes.
No.
I generally dislike them. Like, I feel like I struggle with finding. The problem I have is when you try and copy from software, I'm gonna
defend it.
Not defend it. I'm gonna hold you to the standard set by From Software.
Right.
You know, if someone comes to the pitch and is like, "I'm the next Steph Curry," and then immediately you're gonna be like, "Okay, let's see how these threes go." And if they're not on point, like, it's gonna be like, "You're shit. You're not Steph Curry. Get out of there." But that's how I am with a lot of these games, and especially, like, I don't consider stuff like Hollow Knight part of that kind of conversation because although I'm not a major fan of Hollow Knight, it's a different kind of game. You know, it takes some of the ideas and transposes it into others. I'm thinking about stuff like, I know everyone loves Neo, very well made games, not for me. I always play them. I play enough to know a lot about them, but they just don't work in the same way as me. Same with like Wolong. I really enjoyed Wolong, but
yeah,
it was like fine. It was like an easier version of that. Stuff like, you know, Lords of the Fallen, the older one, that kind of thing. Like, I don't really vibe with that stuff. This is the first one I think I'd unequivocally recommend. Like, Lies of P is one that I will like thumbs up. This is a great game. And it's not a great game because they looked at what was there on paper, what was written down, what are the bullet points on making a Souls-like, and then did that. It's because they clearly took a holistic and like a proper in-depth look at and built an understanding of what makes their games feel good and also like have an atmosphere and how it all comes together. It's not a lot of those games, the other people try and make it have individual cordoned off elements where it's like, we've got a combat system that is interesting. Separately from that, we've got a world. Separately from that, we've got a story. Separately from that, we've got a vibe. They very rarely will coalesce into something interesting, which is what From Software does better than anyone else. Especially for something like Bloodborne, or like Dark Souls 3, for example. This is a game where you go in there and everything feels like a piece of a greater puzzle, a picture, and when you start playing it, you get it. The combat system is very much inspired by both Bloodborne and Sekiro. It's got the two main mechanics of that, like the health recovery system where you attack back, and then the counter system. The counter system is probably the weakest part for me because it just doesn't feel great. And every enemy does that thing where they pause 1 second way too long, and it feels unnatural.
Yeah. The window to get the parry correctly, I'm still trying to figure it out. When you're going against like a bigger enemy or a boss, and you correctly time the parry, there's like red sparks that fly off, and then eventually their health meter will turn white, and then you have to do like a charged strong attack to get them to do the like the R1 vulnerable big stab.
Yeah.
I think that and the dodge roll have probably been my two biggest issues with the game, despite really enjoying it, is that I feel like I'm nailing the rhythm of the timing, but it's that little bit of pause that you mentioned, Tam, that like throws me off of it.
It feels like it's not designed to challenge, it's designed to trick.
Yes.
Which is the main thing. It's like once you notice it and you kind of a few times give it a go, most times in a From Software game, there are enemies that will do like an animation that looks like it's coming and then make it, slow down a little bit or do something else. You kind of eventually cotton onto it, and then you're like, I get this. I'm gonna figure this out, and then you're good. With this game, it never feels right. You never feel like you get there and you understand it. You just kind of like, I've never learned the parry timing of an enemy and then felt like I grew from learning it. I felt like I got lucky a bunch of times, and then the next time I fight that enemy, I'm just like, I clearly didn't learn anything because it feels off again. And part of it is like the timing on the enemies' animations.
Sure.
And it's also kind of the timing on P's kind of counter animation. In Sekiro, it's almost instant. Like his sword is up and it's there. It's like almost a one frame style thing. It isn't, but like it feels like that. Whereas there's a little more animating to P when he does it, and it's unclear what the window is of like active counter frames. So nevertheless, it's not something that you have to rely on. You can get around counter stuff just by being smart with your movement and dodging and that kind of stuff. You have to pay attention to obviously like the iframes in your dodge because it's a little trickier and it's not as obvious, but it's still doable.
You can also quickly upgrade your dodge to add like a second one immediately afterwards. They introduced that pretty early. Yeah,
it's as part of it's got so many different systems as well, which is what I love about it. Like you've got, and they're all their own unique ideas.
Yeah,
as well. Like the counter system is great, but it also has counter system. Having a counter system is great, but on top of having the Sekiro style counter system, they have a kind of like a weapon breaking system, which is really cool. It's like if you counter enough and you manage to get it right, you put the enemy in this like really vulnerable state where they're struggling. And then like the weapons, for example, you pick up a weapon, you can dismantle it, and weapons come in two pieces. It's got like the handle and the actual blade part of it, and you can mix and match. So you can have, for example, I have like a fire axe with a electricity handle, which lets me like tank damage and also do fire damage, and it's weird and wacky.
Yeah.
And then you can like upgrade P himself and like add different kind of attributes to him, like that second dodge or like improve his health, that kind of stuff. And then on top of that, the world is really cool. I like this darker, weirder, gothic take on Pinocchio. You know,
Yeah.
Geppetto's made a bunch of these puppets, and there's other lads involved, and now they're suddenly like rampaging. They've been corrupted, and they killed everyone, and you are the only, like, there's like a fundamental covenant between puppets and humans where they cannot disobey or endanger a human, but obviously Pinocchio's the exception to that rule. So like you're out there now trying to undo Geppetto's or whoever's involved kind of fuck ups to fix whatever's going on. It's very Bloodborne. It's like people are hiding and you like walk up to their windows and talk to them and that kind of stuff. But they take it some real wacky places. It starts off being fairly Bloodborne-y, but then it starts getting real weird with it. And it's like, okay, you guys went for it. I'm just like really impressed by it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like, again, I don't think it's as good as a From Software game, but it's easily my favorite non-From Software Souls game. Easily.
Nice.
Yeah, from the ones that I've dipped into, also, Tim, that you mentioned earlier, like Wukong, didn't quite hit or feel the best. But this one is close to feeling there. I also like the different puppet arm attachments, similar to like a Sekiro. The Spider-Man grapple one I've wound up using the most in my playtime so far. They're fun. It's fun, y'all.
Yeah, it's a good time. And there's like loads of little neat touches in there that I really like. Such small things. Like my favorite one, and I keep talking about it, and it's so small that it's almost insignificant, is when you're out there collecting Ergo, which is their version of Souls, and you have enough to level up, it changes the color of the counter. So if it's like 1,300, it's white. The moment you get to 1,400, and that's what you need to level up, it goes blue. So you know, all right, it's time for me to go back. And that's something that like From doesn't do very much. But then there's also downsides where it's like you start off and you can go to the Stargazers, which are their bonfires, and you can level up there, and then at a certain point it unlocks the Hunter's Dream or the workshop version in this game, and the doll in there. And from then on, for a really long time, you can only just level up at her, which is annoying. It's like, you let me do this before. Why are you making me do this now?
I was confused when that started happening. For folks that start the game fresh, I don't remember this tooltip popping up or this part being tutorialized well, but your weapon does have kind of a type of durability to it where you do have to sharpen it like in Monster Hunter. I at least don't remember that tooltip popping off.
It does pop up. It's very brief. And there's also an item in your inventory that you immediately have access to.
Yes.
It's unlimited use. You basically select it and you hold X, and he's got like a rotating blade on the end of his arm that he just like puts his weapon to and will sharpen
it.
That's
It
cool.
looks cool as fuck, and it does improve like a bunch of stuff in there, like your abilities as well. It is, that part of it is really, really interesting.
I feel like this game would normally scare me, but because of the lessons that I've learned from you, Tam, I feel mildly invincible, and I don't even get frustrated at bosses anymore.
Yeah, it is. I'm really enjoying it, and now I was surprised it's on Game Pass, I believe. Did I say that correctly?
Geez.
That's right, yes.
I think they put it on Game Pass yesterday out of nowhere.
Wow. That's a big deal.
Like, it is really like, there's no reason to not give it a go. I will say, if you're playing it, and the one thing I'll say is like there's certain builds that feel less viable than others. In From's games, you have builds that feel less viable, but it's just because you're doing something wacky with it, stat-wise. Whereas in this game, I feel like if you spec into skill, I think it is, which is the dexterity build, the game is much harder than if you went into like the power build, which is strength build. I would recommend, if you are playing that game, spec into strength. You can still use a lot of the coolest moves and a lot of interesting ideas or like abilities in there. But from the little I played with that build and speaking to other people, there's a point where you kind of hit a wall, and it's because and you'll struggle because you got that dex build. I usually do dex builds, so I didn't have. I think for people who are very used to having dexterity builds, which means they need to be more focused on defense and also being very, very kind of strict about their damage output, it's probably going to be fine. But if you aren't used to that, you should think about, and you don't get a respec option until fairly late. I think it's like chapter 7 or something like that.
If I recall correctly, you can adjust the weapons with like a different crank, right? Like to take better advantage of whichever builds you have. So
yeah.
crank it away, folks.
It's still very viable. I'm just saying, like, it is an additional slight layer of difficulty, and there are moments where there's like spikes in boss difficulty that are kind of weird at times, but and just having that combination of a difficulty spike and also a trickier build might be enough to put you off.
I did think it was neat that like they were kind of throwing weapons at me from the very beginning of like, oh, cool, I wasn't expecting to find another weapon for another 5 hours, but I think I found that same axe you found, Tam, and I'm digging it.
There's also like a choice system, which unfortunately doesn't amount to too much, but it's just neat that they put it in there. So you can, every now and then people ask Pinocchio questions and you can choose to lie or not. And that has an impact on the ending. I believe you get 3 endings. I think it's equivalent of the Bloodborne's 3 endings with the umbilical cords, except less like obtuse. But it's not a major difference from what I've been told and read about. So, but it's just a neat little thing where it's like someone will ask you a question and you have the ability to lie or tell the truth, and you just be like, I want to lie right now. And
so far, no nose growing as far as I've seen.
On the loading screen, the loading bar is a nose. It's a big old nose.
Oh. Yeah, honker there.
They also do this thing where it says lie or die. And like prepare to lie, which is a nice.
That's good.
It's a twist on the Dark Souls prepare to die, which I appreciate. It's like good shit. You're having fun with it. I'm just like very impressed with this team. I believe they're called NeoWiz. They're a Korean team. I'm not sure of anything else that they've done.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar.
Yeah. They've done when I say I'm not sure, I don't think they've done anything as high profile as this. Like,
sure.
I googled them earlier, and they have like games. One of them's called like Brave 9 and the Hero Slayer or something like that, which sound like very much like forgettable mobile games. But
there's a bunch of stuff that does not ring any bells, but there is stuff.
Yeah, they have stuff. This is the first thing where I feel like this is their major breakout moment where I don't know where they go next. I hope that it isn't just more copying or like trying to do more of this, because I worry that this is like a lightning strikes once moment where they did something really impressive, and if they try and repeat it, it could be a problem. Even From tends not to stick too closely to their own games. I mean, Dark Souls 1 to 3 are probably the exception. They're 3 games in the same series, but each one of those games is unique in their own different way, where it feels like a separate game connected by a unified aesthetic and idea.
They need to make another Souls-like game, but continue adapting weird fairy tales.
Uh-oh.
I suggest I need NeoWiz to take Winnie the Pooh.
Yes. I knew it.
Exactly.
I like that.
And then Winnie the Pooh, like just hanging dong, just guzzles down blood instead of honey.
You think it's dong?
You know who I feel like they should do Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, that'd be neat, actually.
That would be pretty fucking sick.
Just
right?
Sherlock Holmes just
you'd
murking
really
people?
need like a mystery solving.
Yeah, I feel like if they expand out the choice making element of it a bit more and like work that into a Sherlock Holmes style system, where is doing little investigations, and it's fairly linear, but you can make these decisions that take you down different branching paths that eventually take you back to like, oh, we've solved the crime. It was this 4-headed demon. Now I have to fight him.
I got it. They should do Sherlock Holmes, but do a twist. Sherlock Gnome.
Yeah, do the Sherlock Gnome game.
Or just do it all. Like do Sherlock Holmes, but the villain is Winnie the Pooh.
I love it.
There you go.
I love it.
Combine it.
It's all public domain.
Lies of Pooh. There you go.
Lies of. I suggested it. I don't know why I didn't have it there. Tam, are you running up against our time with you?
Sadly, I am.
Okay. Well, I think.
But I can hang out for a little bit longer if you have.
I was going to say we should take a quick break. We'll finish off games, talk about news.
In that case, I'm out of it.
All right, Tam. Anything you want to say to the folks at home? Any plugs? The Spider-Man preview with Lucy. That's also
up.
out.
Yeah. I would love to have stayed longer, but I have a few other things that I need to write up, and I'm very limited on time. So that's why I'm bailing on the podcast. Otherwise, I would have stuck around for the entire thing. I apologize. I have to work, apparently.
Lies of T.
Yeah, I'm actually just going to go sit on my ass.
Well, we'll see you with some more game talk and some news, because there's a lot of it today, after this quick breaky break.
Yo soy el jefe. Yo soy el jefe. Yo soy el jefe. Nadie me dice, nadie me manda. Brooklyn a ver que yo soy el jefe. Yo vengo siempre con all mi gente. Yo soy el jefe. Yo soy el jefe. Yo soy el jefe. Yo soy el jefe. Trate el barrio, trate el barrio. Trate el barrio, 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 trate el barrio.
folks, we're now joined by our dear friend Bailey Myers. Bailey, something was shared with me during the break that I think is going to haunt me for the rest of my life.
Honestly, I thought you already knew.
I didn't know this. I did not know this.
Purposefully forgot it.
What?
So I knew this. Bailey plays Mario Party.
Yeah, that's normal.
By herself.
Why? Bailey, I think we're friends now, where I can say that I care about your well-being, right? Why do you do this?
Well, it's to keep the demons at bay, right? Otherwise, she would be killing. That's the only thing.
It's
Bailey,
the same reason I play Tetris 99.
Is this? Are you just practicing for when you have to take on people in Mario Party?
She definitely practiced because she destroyed us.
Clearly worked.
Yes, it clearly worked.
I think
you and me anytime.
I think we could file this under the same thing of like, I don't know, like these pimple popper video watching people. Like, it's very troubling that that's what they're into. But as long as they're not hurting anyone and not like pushing their influence on anyone else, it's like, all right, go do your thing. So I kind of put that in the same category a little bit. It's not it's more abhorrent. I mean, of course, but yeah.
Bailey, I'm going to do a poll here where I'm going to ask Chad if you're a sicko or not. Is that okay?
Oh, that's going to work out in her favor. I'm positive. Yeah.
That's fine.
But Bailey, other than it being Tuesday and it maybe not being your busy week, I forget. Bailey, we have you on. Okay, fantastic. We have you on because something's popping off. Something's happening.
Yeah, I got a couple videos out and I wanted to tell everyone about them.
So tell everyone all about them.
I will. Well, first of all, everyone, please watch the newest Honest Game trailers for Sea of Stars, Jan's favorite game.
Yeah. Love it.
Yep. See if we needed a few more weeks to beat Starfield. And then also I wrote a new show that is on GameSpot right now that just premiered called Reality Check. It's hosted by our dear friend of the show, Emma Fyffe, who we all know and love. Who
the most prepared person
I am sometimes.
All the time. Not sometimes. All the time.
So making that much more difficult by writing a show for her where we talk about why we can't fuck non-human people in Starfield, and we're really upset about it.
Oh, okay. It's actually called that.
A mod. I promise you'll be able to do all that.
Yeah,
if you
but
want.
I shouldn't have to.
That's true. Yes. Let us fuck the alien animals. That's what we need.
Yeah, it's just like a deep dive into niche gaming topics, and this is about like non-human romance options. And we worked really hard on it, and we went to the zoo.
Now, did you work really hard at the zoo? Because I noticed those were like two separate clauses the way you said it.
We did. She worked a little harder than I did at the zoo. My job was already done. I was just there to see the elephants. She was like actually filming.
I remember asking if you could be on a UPF and you telling me, Jan, no, because I have to go to the fucking zoo tomorrow.
It's great. The Los Angeles Zoo is fantastic. Most successful Komodo dragon breeding program in the country.
Well, that's
very
news
exciting.
to me.
Yeah, that's what I learned.
All right.
That's what I learned that day.
Okay. Maybe we'll all buy a zoo together afterwards. We'll all put a $5 in, and then we'll figure it out.
I want an aquarium, not a zoo. To be clear.
There's okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Well, I can't enjoy an aquarium.
Like a kind of zoo.
Water zoo.
Yeah.
I love that water zoo.
Yeah, those are called wazoos, I think.
Out the wazoo. Yeah. Speaking about out the wazoo, there's an obscene amount of video games constantly releasing. You think it's a slow week, but it's actually not.
There's too many. There's too many, some would say.
Because I don't believe anyone here has actually played Mortal Kombat 1, but we do have. Oh, okay. All right. Go talk about it. You want to talk about it?
I like. Look. You're gonna get the most surface level ass version of Mortal Kombat 1 from me. Okay.
Okay. Here.
Yeah, go
Disney
ahead.
World or Mortal Kombat 1?
I mean, come on. You are talk about the most apple and oranges ass comparison in the history of comparisons. But Disney World.
Oh, okay.
No, I really like Mortal Kombat 1, but I'm not a very good fighting game player, right?
Mortal Kombat 1 is pretty, or Mortal Kombat as a series has been pretty welcoming to casual audiences for a very long time. This one seems especially good at that.
It does. It's very accommodating. Mortal Kombat 3 is like my sort of staple where I was the best I ever was at Mortal Kombat, which, is only 25 years ago.
Yeah, quarter of a century.
Yeah. Don't say that.
So
Don't say that.
I do think there's an approachability to this game that I was sort of surprised in seeing. I'm one of those people that's like, I am going to do the tutorial. I am going to see what the moves are once and never remember them again or use them in combat. But I did see the kind of like rock, paper, scissors thing that all fighting games do have to some degree. But I'm into it. I think again, like these games are just so polished and they look so goddamn good. The fatality stuff is not my thing, but everything else is pretty great. I already do have the kind of like fatal blow fatigue where I'm just like, I fucking sit through this shit and watch for like 11 seconds.
I just thought of all of that in my head.
It's true though, right? Like that is without a doubt a thing when they debuted the X-ray.
A bit long.
Yeah, they when they started doing the X-ray stuff, right? Whatever one that was, maybe it was
Mortal
10,
Kombat
9 or 10, right? I was just like, oh wow, okay, and now I'm going to watch this for 11 seconds, and just sort of like be here for that. Is it fucked up if there was a button to like skip that? Would that be fucked up?
I don't think so. I would welcome it, but I mean, part of it I think it's like the flow of the match or something that they're worried about preserving, and I don't know. It, maybe both players would have to agree to skip it so that the other player's not caught off guard or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the move there. I've just been playing Towers. I love how I can mix and match my cameo characters. I think everything is really. I wish I could be Cyrax and Sector. Like that's upsetting.
What?
I want to play as those motherfuckers.
I now feel shame for shaming Bailey for doing a solo Mario Party because that's one of the modes here, right? It's just a solo Mario Party.
It's still very Mortal Kombat what you're doing, but the board game is more just like an overworld map. But it is like they are a little bit trying to board gamify like a single player experience, and it works really well. From what Dan showed me in the quick look, it looks like a really good way. Like if you get through the story, and you're like, I just want to keep playing Mortal Kombat. This is a really good way to facilitate that. Yes, it's the most like the Smash Brothers single player mode from Ultimate.
Oh.
That's the thing that reminds me of the most. I just think this one looks better and like more fun.
Are you besmirching the name of Kirby though, Grub? Is that what we're doing?
I would never. I gotta be careful around these parts doing that. I could lose a limb from these kids.
How are you liking the story, Bacalar? Have you dipped into the story?
Didn't start it.
Okay.
I don't. Mortal Kombat lore is like not interesting to me.
What?
It's just I don't. Look, like I'm not shaming anyone who finds joy in that narrative.
No, shame away, please.
It's just not for me. I watched the opening unskippable cinematic where we're talking about like recreating the cosmos and that stuff seemed fine, and I don't like none of this. Honestly, chat's right. Like I've watched 2 seasons of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Mortal Kombat is like a flyer you find in a bathroom compared to that lore. So like, it does not matter to me. My brain is just too big for it.
Of course.
Right.
I do like the way you're like, they remade the universe. It's nice for you. That's a really sweet that you got that going for you.
It's very sweet. I just like in a game where like everyone's head is constantly being chopped off. I struggle to like find any sort of grounded narrative there. It's fine. I love the fighting element of it. That's really all that matters. And I'm surprised that I found myself going back constantly to Mortal Kombat 1 the last couple days and playing a lot of that game.
Bailey, are you at all intrigued by Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter 6? How do you fare with the fighting game world?
Okay. My thing with fighting games is it's very weird because I have a lot of ties to fighting games because I used to work at a fighting game company, but I've never been good at them, and I've tried so hard and I can't fucking do it. And it is what it is, I just don't have it in me to be good at fighting games. But I know a lot about Mortal Kombat because I did a lot of really in-depth research on the history of it for a video that came out on GameSpot like a month or 2 ago. I don't remember, but it was great. You should watch it. History of Mortal Kombat. Watch it. Also, I thought that the most recent Mortal Kombat movie was really fun.
Okay. I need to ask you because I thought this, and this bugged me with that newest Mortal Kombat movie. I swear to God that Cole's wife in that movie, it was presented that she was his mother. And then I was very bothered when they kissed because I thought that was his mom. It was not. I read that completely wrong.
I thought that, but I think at the point that happened in the movie, I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering correctly, it was my first movie back in theaters, like post-lockdown.
Oh.
So I was just like taking it all in. I saw it at the Chinese theater. I was like, it's a historic moment. Like, have to see the new Mortal Kombat. They had one of the actresses from the movie was there that night.
Oh,
and
that's
like
cool.
we were if anyone's ever been to the Chinese theater, it's like you got these like big sets of stairs that go down, like big auditorium seating. And she was wearing one of those dresses that like really constrict your legs that are like full length, but like really tight. And so she was going down all of these stairs and it took, I shit you not, a full 10 minutes for her to get all the way down the stairs. And then she gets to the front, she goes, "Thank you all so much for being here." And then walks away. I was like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened in cinema. Let's go. I was so amped after that. That movie was great. You could not have disappointed me after that. I was so primed to have a great time.
Speaking about having a great time with Mortal Kombat, there's also a quick look of Mortal Kombat 1 out on the site now. This game looks gorgeous. But speaking about having a great time, I think Jeff Grubb has been having a great time because someone won't stop playing this game. F099.
I got a crying kid over here, but I'll try to do my best. It's really, really good, and I keep playing it a lot. And I don't need you monitoring my behavior online, Janichoa, and noticing that I'm playing it a lot.
What Major Mitch has told me and said.
We all see it. We all see it, Jeff. It's fine.
It's I started playing. I played it on that UPF, and I'm like, I think I get this. But it's like it's a lot, and I don't know if the juice is ever going to be worth the squeeze in terms of like, yeah, maybe I'll get a win, but it feels like it's going to be luck. And then it's like it turns out, no, it's very much a battle royale, which is in most battle royale video games, it's about just maximizing your positioning as much as possible so that when the luck does break your way, you can be in position to win. That was true in PUBG. It's true in Fortnite. It's true with Tetris 99, where you just got to make sure you're staying ahead of the curve so that when someone else makes a mistake, you're ready to get in there. And this game reminds me a lot of Tetris 99, where you got to be on top of every little thing. So you need to be racing well. That means avoiding the cars in front of you, not hitting the sides. Both those things will slow you down a lot. But then you also want to be, and this is like one of my little tricks, is you want to be mindful of the cars behind you because these little arrows pop up, and you want to be having them bump into you because that gives you a little bit of a speed boost. And then you want to be getting all of these power-ups that fill up your meter so that you can use your meter at the appropriate time, and you need to use the meter at the appropriate time. So that gives you a super boost, puts you on a track up above the normal track where all the other cars are, and you can reach 1,000 kilometers per hour or whatever it is. And that's a huge advantage. Yes, it's very fast. It's a huge advantage if you use it at the right time. And then you got to be keeping an eye on your health / normal boost, which is like you use your boost, it takes away some of your health. So it's a risk reward mechanic. You want to be doing that about once per track. So you need to learn the right place to do that. And then it's all of these things simultaneously have to be at the top of your mind, and that just takes practice. So that's why I was playing so much. Is like I feel myself getting better, and then once I started getting to the point where I could manage all of these different things, and I was using the super boost at the right time and the normal boost at the right time, and I wasn't being too aggressive. That's when now I'm like regularly finishing in the top 10 almost every race. Wow. I still don't have a ton of wins. I think I have 4 wins, and then I have 1 win of a circuit, which is like 5 races. And I didn't win a single race in that, but I was in the top 10 every time. So I was able to, or close to the top 10. So I came out number 1 in that. And it's super satisfying to win. Boy, it feels good. It really is a very, very good feeling, which is what you want from Battle Royale, where it's like you put on this effort, and when you pull off a win, it feels like you accomplished something. This is definitely one of those games.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
What do you think is the next game that should get 99ified?
People mentioned like Star Fox 99. I like the idea of like a dog fight one. That's pretty cool, but I don't know if that's it's difficult. What do you think, Jan?
What's that Kirby Air Ride?
Oh, I would love that. Kirby's Air Ride 99 would be incredible.
Nintendo, Doug, you're listening. Write the check.
Our good friend Doug. Absolutely. I would dig that. But there's a lot of stuff they could go for, but it's
1-2
turns
Switch 99.
Yes, there it is. That's it. 1-2-99 Switch. Yes, let's make it happen.
Oh, it's a crime. What the fuck are you doing, man?
I'm putting these ideas out into the universe because someone needs the capitalism, all right? Someone needs the capitalism.
Twisted Metal 99, Lance. What a great idea.
Is it a great idea? Is it?
I mean, look, is F-Zero 99 on paper a good idea? A 100-car race? But I don't know, like, why not have combat, vehicular combat?
Yeah, the thing about F-Zero is, like, there's not a ton of tracks, so it's like, and apparently, like, people have gone in and saw there's other modes where, because, like, this one is, it's still just F-Zero. It is about finishing first. Yeah, some people in the back are going to blow up and, like, not make the cut, but for the most part, like, 80 people are going to cross the finish line. I'm like, there's still space in this battle royale genre for, like, no, just the last car standing. It sounds like they might have modes like that in F-Zero 99 that they're going to release later, but I still think like a car combat one that could work. I would be down to try that.
Mega Man 99.
There you go.
What about like that mini game from Pokemon Stadium where you're a Lickitung trying to eat as much sushi as possible, but not the wasabi? I think that 99.
Yes. Oh man.
Definitely.
Pokemon
That's what we were all
99.
thinking.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Grub, do you want to get to the news or you want to talk about this last thing here?
I played a little bit of heavy duty challenge. You move big trucks over things. It's okay. It feels like a cheaply made game, but it does the thing where the tires go over the mud and then the mud falls apart really realistically.
Yeah.
And you know that's what I need, Jan. Jan, you know that's what I need.
You love like long haul mud games and desolate space games. It's like,
yes, I do.
It is the two different sides of Grub. It is the two wolves inside of him constantly howling. One needs mud.
They're howling. They are always howling. That's absolutely right. I'm like, look at that mud get fucked up. Yes, I need it. And then let's go to a space where I'll never have to see mud again. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
You need absolute mud and the absolute absence of mud.
I'm a spokesperson for Absolute Mud. It's my favorite vodka. That's for sure. All right. You know what? Yeah, let's hit the news. Do the news button. There we go.
Good.
I'm glad I had it this week. God. Watch out next week, whoever's on the Bombcast.
Yeah, Microsoft accidentally uploaded all of their secrets.
Phil.
Yeah.
Hell.
Phil was just he uploaded the wrong files to the FTC's like server or whatever.
He thought FTC was FTP. I get it.
Yes, exactly. It's a common mistake.
Yep.
Anyway, there's a lot going on here. We'll dive into most of it, although some of it's still being like sorted through. So there'll be more on Game Mess mornings later this week, probably. But Microsoft is planning to release a redesigned Xbox Series X console in November 2024. Right now, it has the codename Brooklyn. It will have
Brooklyn. Sorry.
Brooklyn. It will have more internal storage, faster Wi-Fi, reduced power consumption, a more immersive controller, which we'll talk about in a second, and a beautiful design. And that beautiful design is a cylindrical shape, according to the reports. It won't have a disk tray, so they're not going to do a disk drive on this thing, but it will have 2 terabytes of storage instead. But like the specs aren't really going to be upgraded. They'll be slightly improved. What that really means probably is they're using a new chipset that is basically more power efficient. That's where the power, like the reduced power consumption, comes from. But it basically it's going to run games almost exactly the same, I would assume. This is in line with what Microsoft has said about, hey, they don't want to do a pro version in the middle of the console generation, but they might do something like this, which is just an Xbox Series X revamped in a bunch of other ways, and it's going to be $500 still. What's up,
guys? What the fuck are they doing? This isn't a box. This is a fucking cylinder.
What is
this
cylinder Series X? Yeah, that's
right.
right.
Yeah, good call out.
I know everyone's upset about their like data potentially being leaked and this stuff, feeling bad for Big Philly, but we should be causing riots right now.
A box, you're saying, must be square shaped, right? Or rectangular or cube?
There needs to be angles to this shit, baby.
Okay.
Not a single one.
A hat
to
box
me is what makes
like
a
round.
box. Yeah.
What is that? What is that, Bailey?
Like there's a lot of jewelry boxes and stuff that aren't like perfect squares. I don't know. I feel like you're being kind of prescriptivist.
Yeah.
Yes, a
definition
box
of what
can be a
box
circle.
is.
Yes, you're wrong, Jan. I'm sorry to tell
I'm
you, but a box
wrong.
can be a circle. A
We
box
don't-
can be spherical. It can be cylindrical, rather. You could do
It's
a round
just-
box too.
All boxes are circles, but not all circles are boxes, you know?
Yeah, all this time we didn't know Phil had it in him, and now he's going to show us.
All right, I apologize for derailing the news.
All right, actually, let me deal with
Good
this
idea.
kid real quick. Just give me a second. I'll be right back.
It's a good idea. I'm looking at the rest of this stuff here, and I gotta say,
From a tech perspective, Backlar,
I don't
you?
need. No, I don't think anybody. I think it's the right time to buy it if you don't already have one. But I don't. This is not like a half step upgrade console in the way of like a Pro or anything like that. I'm sure Girl will come back and reiterate how that's the case. But this is not a thing where you're like, well, my refrigerator Xbox is no longer relevant. I must upgrade to the cylinder. It's not.
What
I don't
about
think that's
these
going to be a thing. The
hot-
controller is intriguing though.
What about these hot
Controller, I
Starfield
didn't look
wraps that I'm gonna buy for this Xbox? I can't put them on the cylinder.
No, I mean,
I love the Starfield wraps. They're so fucking cool. Like,
the
what's
best
why
GIF
really
ever.
why release something cool like that and then immediately make it so I can't use it? Okay, the controller looks sick.
What
the
is
controller's cool. I
What
think
is
like
different?
Controller looks like it's been dipped.
Oh,
I think Starfield's color packaging is very, very good. I like the brand. I like what they did with the packaging of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's a shame that I just find myself so disinterested in that video game.
The problem is like all of the colors that they've used for the Starfield promotional stuff are so much brighter and more interesting than anything you can put on your character in Starfield. Like the first day I played it, I searched for hours just to find my character a slutty little crop top so I could relate to her better. Nothing. Fucking nothing.
That's space.
What?
You know?
Space? You can't wear a
There
crop
are
top in
definitely
space
sluts
now?
in space.
It's the
100% there is.
90s.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm making my way through Cowboy Bebop. I'm aware.
Yeah.
You know?
Let me dress her up like Faye Valentine and then we can talk. You're not
Absolutely.
getting an honest game trailer for that game until then.
you hear that?
Hold it hostage. Hold it hostage.
That's
Yeah.
a warning. That's
Hear
a
that,
warning.
Pete? Give me
Shots
the crop
fired.
tops. I want to wear a crop. Yeah,
Free my soul.
and wear crop tops and rock and roll. There we go. All right.
All right, this controller, it's also going to be updated. It's got a code name Sibyl. Do with that what you will. It's got new features, including improved precision haptic feedback using voice coil actuators, which double as speakers. Basically, just haptics that happen to be speakers. Basically, that makes sense because like the haptics in the DualSense really work because they always pair it up with a sound. So it's like you can like complete it in your brain. Like, oh, I know what they're trying to go for. I'm going over gravel or something like that. So making that the same thing, that's fair. It'll also have an accelerometer, which will have a lift to wake feature. So you lift up the controller, your Xbox will turn on. That sounds annoying, actually. I'm not going to use that. And then
Yeah, that's
modular
insane.
thumbs. Yeah, because like I'm going to be cleaning the table and I'll pick it up and then my Xbox is going to turn on. And that's going to turn on the TV.
Oh,
and I'm
what
going
an-
to be
what
so
an
pissed.
That will knock it off the
insane
thing in the middle of the night.
Uh-huh.
Just-
I hope it's
The cat
I hope it's like
does it.
I hope
Yeah.
it's like the 8-bit dough where you like really have to violently shake it.
Shake it,
You know,
yeah,
like
exactly.
do me that
You got to
way.
really just show it who's boss. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what
you
that's
gotta
right.
make it all dizzy and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
That's how you
More
get
Give
it.
it the old
things.
how's your father? Yeah.
More things for me to assume there's a ghost in my house.
Exactly. Who needs that?
Modular thumbsticks, a rechargeable battery, which people have been asking
Whoa.
for a while.
Stop the presses. What?
I
Lead
don't
with
like
this,
rechargeable
scrub.
batteries in my controllers. I hate them actually because they always go bad after a year, and then you got a controller that lasts for 2 hours. and
Wait,
it fucking
they always
sucks.
go bad after a year? What do you
Yeah.
mean? What
Have
like
you- my DualSense lasts like an hour and a half. It's because it's a rechargeable battery. It's a lithium-ion battery.
Well, maybe the capacity is the problem. And
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think those are like not impressive
sucks.
battery lengths. But like, I don't know, do that better. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Now,
but
these rechargeable batteries they do mention can be swapped out. So that's
Okay.
something
That's
because
good.
if you can put in a new one on the fly, then we're all good. I
Sure,
suppose I didn't have
okay.
to get. Hopefully, it's just like a double-aced kind of a rechargeable battery. We'll see.
don't worry, bro.
Yeah, I know. And then they're gonna have quieter buttons and thumbsticks. I like my loud thumbsticks and buttons, but I get it. I get it. It's- I do. I
Are
like
they
clicking.
loud? Are they loud?
I've
Yeah,
never
they're-
noticed.
Everyone click.
I have a dual sense, so it's...
Oh wait,
Wait,
that's
no,
Xbox,
you're using
that's
two
my
different
PlayStation.
controllers. I can't. Wait, what's happening?
Are you guys hearing
That's
this?
very loud. That's actually very
I
loud.
guess it is. I guess
Oh,
it's
I
good for a
don't have mine
keyboard, not for a
handy.
controller, right?
I
Honestly,
like
the-
it. It's satisfying, but I don't know. What were you saying,
Controller I
Bailey?
don't have. It's the only controller I don't have handy because it's the only console that I don't like personally own. So
Okay, that's okay.
nobody
You have a
get mad
computer.
at
That's all you
me.
need.
You have a PC.
I,
you play all
I
those
do
games.
have a PC.
It's okay,
But-
Bailey. I don't have
God,
an Xbox either.
I feel like such a fake gamer girl.
You have a PC. You don't need one. That's
Exactly.
got you, all the
No.
games are on there.
I mean,
That's
we've
it.
established I'm a fake gamer anyway, so it's fine.
We're all fake gamers together. Good for us.
Absolutely.
High fives.
Definitely. I'm just gonna go play more F-099 and avoid all these new games. That's what I'm doing.
Hey,
Uh,
I like
go
loading
ahead.
batteries. That's it. Look at that.
Oh, that's a good
Ah.
sound. I like that. That's
Yeah,
good
it's nice.
stuff.
Sorry, Greg.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. More news here. Microsoft is looking to launch its next-gen console in 2028. Microsoft has been targeting a 2028 launch window for its next Xbox console, as mentioned in a May 2022 meeting attended by top company executives, including CEO Satya Nadella and head of gaming Phil Spencer. It may have flexible hardware specifications and be more developer-friendly than previous consoles. Microsoft believes that mid-cycle hardware refreshes are not helpful for creators or players, and that current console cycle is still young. Microsoft's next-gen vision, this is like some of the details here, which is actually, some of the stuff sounds pretty wild. Microsoft's next-gen console, Xbox Series X and S, would represent not just a new device, but a new ecosystem generation. Executives outlined this plan in that May 2022 meeting. Console generations usually just involved a new offering of one or two models of a new, more powerful piece of gaming hardware. The leaked presentation on Microsoft's so-called Gen 10 offering, including consoles, phones, web browsers, a handheld system, PCs, and a cloud console with a shared operating system available across devices. According to the presentation, Microsoft has already selected ARM64 architecture for the core device's CPU. The company expected to deliver development kits to game creators by 2027, ahead of a 2028 launch. That would be a big change, going from x86 to ARM64 for their processor. Basically, the simplest way to explain this is the Switch uses ARM. Now, they use it's going to be a slightly different version of ARM. Like all your phones use ARM. All these mobile devices basically use that, but they're becoming so much more powerful these days that it makes some sense, because this gives you the most flexibility, which sounds like they want to go for. Now, they did also, they're like, hey, we want to do a handheld Xbox, but they're like, we would probably do this with a partner and not make it ourselves, because the resources it would take to get that spun up. I wonder if that changes now after they see what happened with the Steam Deck. I suppose that was probably happening when they originally had that meeting, though, so I don't know. All right, more news here. Yes, the cloud gaming aspect is going to return. So Microsoft plans to release a next-gen Xbox console late 2028 that we were just talking about. And it will use cloud processing to improve performance and enable new game experiences. The company has been working on cloud gaming for over a decade and has already implemented it in some Xbox games. But now obviously they tried this once before with the Xbox One, where it was going to be better with the cloud. That's something they are going to return to with the next system. They've been silently working on this for a while. I mean, obviously, that's one of the things Kojima is working on with his game for Xbox. Exactly. So they are probably looking for a big coming out party for this tech, where they're like, hey, here's a game that really is better because it's using the cloud, and it's not just Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is something that I think a lot of people are like, yeah, I get it, but I'm never going to play that game. They're looking for a way to hey, make games seem better because they are running on the Azure cloud server or something like that.
I think this is all a smokescreen. I think they're just trying to get Final Fantasy VII onto the Xbox. This is the cloud gaming.
That's the cloud gaming of the future. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
so that's what Phil Spencer's always been.
cut the check, Phil. Cut the check.
Okay. Well, speaking of cutting the check, Phil Spencer and Microsoft were trying to acquire Nintendo in the year 2020.
When was that?
2020.
What? Sorry, what?
They tried
Okay.
to buy Nintendo.
Well, listen, they had conversation. Okay, in 2020, Microsoft's gaming boss Phil Spencer wanted to acquire Nintendo. He believed that Nintendo was a key asset for Microsoft in gaming, and that a merger would be a good move for both companies. However, Nintendo was not interested in being acquired.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. And horrific for planet Earth. Like, great for Microsoft and, world ending for the rest of humanity.
He's like, wouldn't it be nice if we owned that? Yeah, man, probably. It would probably be really nice for you. It'd be nice if we all individually owned a lot of things. That doesn't mean we just get to go buy Nintendo.
I would like to
don't
own
even
a
want to
house.
hear this. I don't even want to hear this as a freaking thought experiment. This sucks.
So he is aware.
Literally why
that
we have antitrust laws.
Yes, and he's aware that like Nintendo was like not really super hot on the idea. That was like him. He had to kind of explain that to other people at Microsoft. He suggested that he believed Nintendo's future exists off of their own hardware, which is wild in a world where their games sell like 50 million copies on just Switch, but claimed it was taking a long time for the company to, quote, see that. Without that catalyst, I don't see an angle to a near-term, mutually agreeable merger of Nintendo and Microsoft, he explained to other execs inside of Microsoft. And I don't think a hostile action would be a good move. Yeah, a hostile takeover of Nintendo would be something everyone would love. So we're playing the long game.
Would be so into that.
But our board of directors has seen the full write-up on Nintendo and Valve, and they are fully supportive on either if opportunity arises, as am I.
Valve's out there like, what the fuck?
I mean, so Valve's a privately owned company. They're not even like, you couldn't even go out and like buy the shares. But
You couldn't do like a hostile.
You got to assume that
takeover.
eventually Gabe Newell's going to want to be like, I'm not going to be around forever. So I'm going to have to like do something here. Like, but I don't know.
Yes,
I
He's
Gabe.
gonna
love
leave it to his
Valve.
swords. Yeah.
Portal 2 is my favorite first-person shooter of all time, but mentioning Valve in the same breath as Nintendo is insane, Phil. What are you talking about? I love leaks. You get to see all the most embarrassing emails and PowerPoints that never made it past the initial marketing rounds, where you're just I don't know, Phil. Maybe take that one back to the drawing board. Bud.
For both of these, I see what in the context of this conversation, I'm like doing the short version here. The context of the conversation is like, what would be the biggest pie in the sky possible moves we can make that would completely redefine everything? And that are also in the realm of possibility. Nintendo, we all know, not in the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Valve is not like some impossible thing, though. So I get like, he's like, at some point, getting Nintendo would be a career moment, is how he describes it.
Oh,
And
yeah, I'm sure.
And I honestly believe a good move for both companies. It's just taking a long time for Nintendo to see that their future exists off their own hardware. And then he reiterates a long time.
Someone should let me be a CEO because of all of my wild ideas. I think I would do a major disservice to humanity, but it'd be really fun.
Yeah, I mean,
what if Microsoft just buys Apple? Let's keep dreaming, you know?
well, it's just all this like wildly irresponsible consolidation that is horrifying.
Yeah, it's like their job to like have all these ideas, but it is weird just to see it written out, right? Just like to have someone's like, oh, they really did have that conversation. That's crazy, and like it would be probably anti-competitive for Microsoft, the company that owns Windows, to be the company that also owns Valve, the biggest PC gaming store. That would be a tough one, I think, for them to get past regulators. I mean, Nintendo is a whole other thing. I mean, honestly, I don't even know what that would look like. How do you even pull that off? That'd be impossible. But yeah, I don't like. It's weird. These companies, we have these laws against price fixing, right? Like if all these companies got together and decided, hey, we're going to work together to fix prices, that would be super illegal. But if you're just a company and you buy everyone and then you decide to fix those prices, that's like totally cool.
But
we're
there's
down with
enough
That's
that.
what the antitrust laws are for.
Yeah, but there's the market still operates that way. There are still like
Clearly,
that sort of
yes.
pricing, like matching and that sort of strategy.
Yeah,
is still
it's sort of
a
like
thing.
don't step on their toes and we won't step on yours, right? Like that sort of thing. It's like gentlemen's agreements behind closed doors, that sort of stuff. I mean, if you're an executive,
lot of
you're gonna
toes.
feet.
Where did this leak out of? Like, how did we? Where's
So
this coming from?
Microsoft apparently uploaded unredacted files to the FTC server as part of the Activision case. So it was like someone at Microsoft did
stepped on a rake.
this. Yes, there was a giant
my
rake, and they're just like, man, that's
God.
looking juicy.
Ooh.
Gonna step on that juicy rake.
Nom, nom, nom.
Phil, baby man, I love your ambition, but I have a Switch on my desk and not an Xbox for a reason.
Kiddo can't comment. Oh, there's a buggy. I see it. Yeah, that's very
He's
cute.
got opinions about this too. Let her chime in.
Yes,
Someone
she says,
needs-
haha, Phil.
Someone please Photoshop Phil Spencer as Craven the Hunter.
That's probably already happened for Xbox weirdos. All right, let's see here. There's more. Phil Spencer and Microsoft are getting Nintendo. And then the next story, Dishonored 3 and more showed up in a leaked game list from ZeniMax's management forecast. This is pre-COVID, so a lot of these things have been delayed. But if you look at it, you'll see stuff like Dishonored 3, a new Doom game, and remasters of The Elder Scrolls Oblivion and Fallout 3. We now know that remaster of Oblivion is happening, so this list is still mostly probably very relevant. But at one time, they're like, we're going to put out Starfield in here, let me see if I can make this big enough for me to actually read it. Starfield was going to come out in fiscal year 21, and then The Elder Scrolls 6 was going to come out in fiscal year 24. And, well, we know that's definitely not going to happen now. But that's the kind of thing that they were looking at doing. And these other games on here, most of them have come out or we do know about. And then there's the handful like Fallout 3 remaster, which is probably one of the ways that they're going to try to keep Fallout relevant.
It says Ghostwire Tokyo sequel.
Yeah,
okay,
well, we'll
sure.
see. We'll see.
What the fuck?
We'll see.
I mean,
I thought that was Immortals of Avium.
That's what it's reminded me of. All the hand stuff.
Yes,
Really?
yep.
Wow.
Ghostwire Tokyo did much better than Immortals of Avium, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
but-
you,
I
friend.
mean, Ghostwire had a much
Welcome.
better style too, I think.
Yes.
But like,
Well, no, it's just all the hand jazz, you know?
yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a ton
For
of
sure.
like weird sign language looking stuff almost in a way, which is pretty interesting.
Finger
This
dancing.
means start again. It's American
Yeah,
Sign
like a lot
Language.
of and a lot of like
Yeah.
weird like string stuff too. Did you notice that? Like, remember those games where like people would like
Puppets.
play with a string and they would like,
Lies of P and
Oh.
Sync is getting back together.
oh,
Follow
wait,
cut the check,
What?
Phil. I
yeah,
don't
what's
know.
happening?
I'm just trying to
Follow
make
the thread.
I'm just trying to have cut the check go over as my new catchphrase.
It's good.
maybe-
I like it.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'm tired
this
of a
Ghostwire-
baby's handful, you know?
Maybe this Ghostwire, like, hopefully they do it again and like just like better, right? Like, I'd be okay with that. That's
I think
happened
it's-
before. That's happened
Yeah,
before.
it's definitely happened before. Yeah, if the sequel
Yeah.
does a big improvement, that's
Yeah.
like normal for gaming at this point. Because like getting a team together and making a new game
Hard.
is almost always going to result in about a 7.5 out of 10.
Oh my God.
It takes so much work to like get something like across the finish line. The idea that you're going to be good at everything as well is like no. But the second game, maybe you can bring that stuff together.
Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Assassin's Creed 2, I think is the one I always
Oh,
think of,
okay.
where it's like Assassin's Creed is, and then Assassin's Creed 2 is very, very good.
Portal 2, the best first-person shooter of all time. This is just a
Exactly.
joke I'm going to keep saying, and everyone in chat is going to assume I'm not joking, and it's going to be really fun for me.
Yes,
Cut the
I'm
check.
doing it. So yeah, this leak was huge. There's still more stuff coming up, but this was the stuff I was able to gather up before the show this morning. I don't know like if there's going to be any fallout from any of this in terms of people, the Microsoft partners getting mad at Microsoft for making this big boo boo or whatever, something like that, or if Nintendo's relationship with Nintendo or with Microsoft is going to be like more frosty or whatever. Because like you were going to try to buy us, you're going to talk about hostile takeovers. I don't know. I think most people are going to be like, just assume it's business as normal. To me, the big thing here is the next Xbox being an ARM-based thing. Very strange. I kind of want to see what that's actually going to end up looking like.
I'd wear it on my arms.
You would. You're going to look like a very cool dude, like
You look
Jax.
so cool.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right, so let's see here. Starfield is a sales mega hit. Starfield is the 5th fastest selling game in Europe this year based on its launch week performance. It is also the biggest Xbox launch this generation in Europe, ahead of Forza Horizon 5. The data does not take into account early access or Game Pass sales, but if you line up week 1 sales for all of these games this year in Europe, Hogwarts Legacy, Diablo 4, The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and Star Wars Jedi Survivor all performed better than Starfield. But Starfield is ahead of Resident Evil 4, Final Fantasy 16, F1 23, Dead Island 2, NBA 2K23. And most of the other games on this list are not on Game Pass. So even despite being on Game Pass, a lot of people showed up to purchase this game. And even if you take out early access stuff, which is everyone buying that game for $100, kind of like... I think Becco, you were saying like you heard like people outside in public at like a soccer game, right? Kind of talking shit about the game. I think that Starfield is one of those ones where it kind of
That's so funny.
I fucking hate space.
It was
Space
oh,
sucks.
Jen,
Who wants to go out there?
you are not that far away from. I mean,
Really?
at the same time, like they did make good points. I thought, like I didn't engage.
sure.
I didn't really know them.
I just want to
I,
get in
like,
the mud.
It was like, but
There's
then,
no
and then
mud
one
in
of them was like,
space.
Baldur's Gate. You know, Baldur's Gate's what I'm playing.
crop
Oh,
tops.
really?
How am I supposed to get my slut on?
Yeah, I want to be a space slut, and this game's limiting me.
Baldur's Gate will definitely let you be a slut. So like, there you go.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I'm more excited for
That's
Liza
game of the
P.
year.
I like Timothy Chalamet. I want to be a little puppet boy. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
That's awesome.
All right. Let's see. Your Unity's changes to its reviled install fee plan leak ahead of announcement. Unity has backtracked on its controversial install fee policy following a backlash from every single game developer on the planet. The new policy will limit fees to 4% of a game's revenue over $1 million. Installations will no longer be retroactive, and Unity will rely on users to self-report installation data. Unity CEO John Riccitiello acknowledged that the company could have done a lot of things better.
Oh yeah.
Hey, does Unity
Name 3.
does Unity actually make a Unity game?
No, clearly they make it like a disunity product now at this point, but they don't make
Okay.
anything that's called like, it's not like Unreal, like where there was the Unreal game or anything like that.
Okay,
don't
because I
think.
was gonna say we should just like fire up the Unity game and just constantly refresh it and download it.
There you go. Yes, you have to
Yeah, what
charge
was-
yourself.
The phrase they used in the apology tweet was like, "We're sorry for the
Angst.
confusion and angst."
You're
Like
sorry
we're
about your
all like
angst.
listening to My Chemical Romance because all
Uh-huh.
these indie devs are getting fucked over. Like, yeah, man, absolutely. Those are the two emotions I can think of when I saw the response to this boneheaded ass decision. Great.
It's
Who does this stuff? Why would you do this?
I mean,
Why would
so
you do this?
the only explanation here continues to be that this is a company that desperately needs money. They have a ton of debt, and they don't have a lot of path forward for growth. They tried a bunch of stuff, nothing's really worked, and now they're
So
like,
they
okay,
thought they might as well commit seppuku.
yes, and that's definitely what they've done because no one wants to work with them anymore. They might as well like go out there and get a sword and do what needs to be done because
Oh, Jesus.
because this is what seppuku is.
I
Yeah.
fucking hate Starfield.
Because like no one like if you're making a game today, I just don't see anyone being like, well, I'm gonna go with Unity. Like that's gonna be a good thing.
No.
5 years from now, when I'm releasing this game, that'll be something I can trust. Will be there and will have my back. Like no way. They're done. I think they're cooked.
I
They
just-
did it to themselves.
I can't remember a more a recent example of someone more like instantaneously just reversing all goodwill, just completely. I think maybe Drew Barrymore is my best.
Oh, that
Like,
whole arc was amazing.
I'm
Oh.
like, she managed to recover from it. I don't think Unity can.
No,
I think
yes.
I think they have not managed to figure a way to 180 this absolute stupid shit they've pulled.
I mean, because they are still trying to mostly get away with it here. Like they still want to like charge people or charge developers for having people install your game, and they're like, yeah, we're going to have all these limits on it, but those limits could go up over time. No one's going to trust them on this. So,
No.
yeah, that they're in a tough situation in terms of ever turning this around, and they're not even trying that hard to turn it around. Really, they still think this is the only way that they're going to be able to survive. And good luck with that, Unity. Let's see. Nintendo started talking to Activision about the Switch 2 last year. Nintendo briefed Activision Blizzard on plans for its next-gen console in December 2022. Activision expected the console's performance to be comparable to the PS4 and Xbox One. That's before all the DLSS magic, so that's going to be the raw power in terms of performance. However, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick claimed in July 2023 that Activision was unaware of the specifications for the Nintendo's next console. He probably is just like, I don't know what processors in there, but I think he probably does know it's generally around a PS4 or Xbox One, which is I think what everyone's kind of expecting in terms of a handheld from Nintendo coming from the same company that made the Switch that had relatively outdated mobile hardware when it launched. That's probably going to be the same case for the Switch 2. We do hear about this thing probably pretty soon, so we're not going to have to wait like so much longer before we find out what this thing is capable of. But for now, I don't know. Do you guys have any like high hopes for Switch 2 in terms of being able to play games much better than it can? Like, is anyone here hoping, hey, that thing, I want to be able to play 4K games on my TV?
No.
No,
That's not what it's for.
I don't expect it to. I guess that's the one big question mark. Like, do you think it'll make that 4K jump? Because didn't they stay?
It'll output in 4K, right? But it's not going to
You think?
render anything in 4K. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess
Because
that
Not
makes
what it's
sense.
for.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna take my Hyundai Sonata racing and be like, why won't it go so fast? That's not what it's for. It's for
Yep, so
playing
to
my
get you to
little
work.
Zelda games.
Yes,
The
exactly.
Hyundai?
Yeah, that's not wow. Interesting.
Honda's got a Switch cartridge slot.
It's got really
He said
good
it.
latency.
Yes,
I was
exactly.
trying to think of one single gaming word, even one.
It's got blast processing that Hyundai
really,
Sonata.
really nice tannins. I don't know.
Yeah, they're mellow. They'll probably output in 4K. They're not going to render anything in 4K. Maybe a couple games with like DLSS will be like, yeah, we can put out in 4K and 30 frames per second.
Sure,
that's going to be
doable. Yeah.
right, few and far between, and most people are not even going to notice or care about that difference. Nintendo games will probably continue to be 1080 on TV and 720 on handheld. Maybe they increase the resolution on the screen for the handheld, but that's kind of a headache because they got all these 720p games for the Switch. You might as well just keep it because a 1080p screen that's like 7 or 8 inches is not that much better than a 720p screen at 7 or 8 inches.
Grub,
so.
Backlog, go ahead.
I guess out of the gate, I even remember when we were at that, New York Switch launch event many, many years ago. And the first thing realizing like, oh, the bezel on this thing is pretty substantial. I think out of the gate, like I'm optimistic that stuff won't be as glaring of an issue. But I guess there's really not that many things from the portable experience that need to be that much better, right? Like
it's pretty much going to be the same thing, right? I mean, they don't need to change much at all. I guess, you improve the Joy-Con controllers or whatever, maybe introduce entirely new controllers so that you could just leave the Joy-Con name behind because that's sort of been somewhat tainted.
Yeah.
But outside of that, yeah.
Yeah, that's literally like, I feel like I hear so many complaints about the way the Switch runs, and that's just not something I've personally experienced. I feel like sometimes like I'm living in an alternate reality. Like if I complain about Baldur's Gate bugs and then I get yelled at, like they have no bugs. I'm like, they listed so many bugs.
Buggy,
And the thing, it's very buggy. What are you talking about? But with Switch, I've never really encountered any problems. I think just because I'm like, if I'm going to play like a huge fucking mega game that's available on another console, I'll play it on that other console.
Yeah.
And then the Switch is for Tetris. It's my Tetris 99 system. It's where I play my Tetris 99.
I think the one time I've had a hard crash was playing Wolfenstein on the Switch.
Oh,
Sure.
Cool. Play it on something else.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I definitely think like to see something like the Zelda game running at 60 would be amazing. I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff that could get better, but yes, it's completely serviceable and it is not in any way like a deal breaker by any means.
Activision Blizzard hasn't had a ton of Switch games. They've had a few. They haven't had a ton though. And Bobby Kotick on the stand during the Activision Microsoft merger deal with the FTC, he said, "Hey, I regret not supporting the Switch more. In fact, I regret not having Call of Duty on the Switch in some form." Because we missed out on a lot of money. We misjudged what the Switch would be, and then we got behind. Yes, exactly. All nuts. I could have made more money. So Nintendo going there and giving this presentation pretty early on, probably trying to win over Activision. That probably will be more effective, but I still wonder how third-party games like Call of Duty is going to come to the Switch because that's what Microsoft says they're going to do. Is anyone going to care? Because not a lot of people cared. I mean, it ran bad, Apex Legends, but Apex Legends doesn't make a ton of money on the Switch, for example. So I'd be curious to see what support looks like from a company like Activision.
They're going to put WoW. They're going to put WoW on the Switch.
That's it. Yes, no other console, just the Switch. I would like that. That'd be very fun to see. All right, Hades 2 early access is launching next year. I'm very excited. The sequel to the 2020 game is scheduled to release in early access in Q2 2024. It'll be both on Steam and Epic Games this time. Technical tests will precede the early access launch, though, so we will be able to get our hands on a little bit before that. The full game will be released after the early access period, which will include more content and updates, as they are wont to do with these early access games.
I'm so excited.
Me too. Someone mentioned this news story the other day, and I was like gripping my chair because I was like, wait, is it out now? Because they originally said it would be out in early access this year. Obviously, we knew that wasn't really going to happen as we got kind of later and later into the calendar. But Q2 2024, I'm going to be there. Hades 2 is one of my most anticipated games by far. So this will be great. Finally, there was the State of Play and the Nintendo Direct. Just the highlights here from the State of Play.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth got a February 29th release date. There's that Spider-Man footage Tam talked all about by actually playing it, though, so we're good there. Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways DLC is due out in like 2 days from when we're recording this, September 21st. Roblox is coming to PS4 and PS5 on October 10th. Helldivers 2, it's going to be PS4 and then it'll run on PS5. Helldivers 2 is launching on February 8th, and Foam Stars is getting an open beta on September 29th. We talked over that thing. We gave our opinions on it already. So if you want to like see us react to that, that's available on the site. For the Nintendo Direct, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door HD is coming in 2024. That was exciting. A reimagining of Mario vs. Donkey Kong, the Game Boy Advance game, is coming February 16th. F-Zero 99 Shadow dropped. Princess Peach Showtime is coming March 22nd, her birthday, with Peach in a detective outfit and a bunch more. It looked great. There's a Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 remaster. Another Code Recollection is a remaster of those two games, Trace Memory and Another Code R. And then Unicorn Overlord is a new tactics RPG from Vanillaware that looked very, very promising as well. That does it for the news. Jan, I'm handing the show back over to you.
Here we stand, worlds apart, hearts broken in two. Sleepless nights, losing ground. I'm reaching for you. It's the lyrics to Separate Ways, you know.
Beautiful.
We brought up Separate Ways. Separate, man. Me and the journey that I've been on with Journey, huh? Breaks my heart all the time.
Sure.
I didn't recognize it as Journey because you were performing it like slam poetry.
Yeah.
Man, I hate being part of the 10% of Filipinos that can't fucking sing. Anyway.
Completely unfair.
It's really pulled the bad straw there, bud.
I got everything else except the nursing degree. It's fine. I talk on the internet. I'm just thinking of my own inadequacies that I've built into my own self now, so it's okay. I'm going to take a quick bricky break, and I'll read some emails from the fine folks at home right after this. I can't stop thinking about the Muppets. We weren't even talking about the Muppets during break. We were talking about a separate group of puppets, but like, man.
But related.
Yeah, fair enough.
Adjacent. Yeah, sure.
Muppet adjacent, man.
Yeah.
Kermit the Frog, what's he up to? Is he okay? Is he all right?
I think you can just message Lucy on Slack.
Yeah, there she is. Yeah.
I did go to the Muppet theater thing at Disney. That was very good. I'll say.
Oh, you saw Muppet Vision?
I did.
That's the best thing. When they got rid of that in Disneyland, I pitched a fit. That's the only thing I've been upset about ever.
Oh, that's interesting. I think, like, I don't know, I was sitting front row, and I think, like, the one part of that story that is tragically stupid is just, like, the 3D cartoon that they create in the cartoon character. I hate that little fucking thing. I think it's really stupid.
I think you're supposed to like him. I think he's supposed to be unlikable.
Yeah, and
they're like 3D sucks, and this is a representation of 3D manifested.
Right. Mike helped me out. I guess the thing's name is Waldo or whatever the fuck. And the effect is so strong in the first row that, like, I found myself cross-eyed a lot. And I was just sort of like, this feels bad. I'm here for the air conditioning and entertainment.
Right. You just close your eyes. You take a dad
and bubbles.
nap.
Oh, I closed my eyes through about half of it. But nevertheless, enjoyed it.
I'm just there to hear Sam Eagle say salute to all nations, but mostly America.
That shit is so good.
Best line. Like saying that in Disney. Oh, Sam.
It's good. Yeah, you scandalous. You scamp. I love it. It's great.
Dan is just Gonzo, right?
Yes.
Yes.
100% from another planet. Doesn't realize it.
Gonzo's an alien?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Oh.
I don't think I knew that.
What are our Muppets? I feel like I'm Statler and Waldorf.
Both of them, yes.
You're both of them. Okay.
Stacked on top of each other in an Nintendo.
You know what? Wait, I feel like, who else am I supposed to identify with if not those two freaks?
You could be the buzzard.
Yeah. No. She could be Statler. He could be Waldorf.
Okay. All right.
You could be Oscar the Grouch.
Now it sounds like a Jewish joke, but that's fine. I think.
Yeah, a little bit.
Wow, Grub.
You guys were desperate to be it.
I just mean because I heckle.
No, wait, but Oscar the Grouch is not a Muppet. He's a Sesame Street
again,
person.
Muppet adjacent.
Yeah, so
yeah,
I don't.
The Jim
we're
Henson
talking
Corporation.
Yeah, I want to keep it outside of Sesame Street if we could.
Sure,
but yes, Oscar makes sense.
Yeah, I'll be the Swedish chef. That works for me.
Love that for you.
I don't want to.
human
I
hands,
feel like you've
so-
got to be the Kermit.
Sorry.
guy,
Oh, boy.
right? Oh
Sorry,
boy.
got very upset.
Okay,
All the
okay.
Sesame Street, those are Muppets. They were all made by Jim Henson. All the Sesame
See?
Street characters.
Okay.
All right,
That's
well
what
then
I'm
we could
saying.
all
They're fair
be.
game.
Then I could be motherfucking Raphael then, I guess, because that too is a Jim Henson creation.
Yeah, okay,
from the
like
first-
that's a
But not a
bit
Muppet.
different.
That's-
But you know, it's different. Bye.
I don't want to come to the realization. Like, I like doing this fantasy
Camera.
casting stuff. Oh, Mike just messed up
Yeah.
your camera.
Yeah, unbelievable.
When it comes to properties, because they're like, oh, that's fun. What do people think I am? But someone once said when I brought this question up a long time ago that I'm the, what's his fucking name? I'm the Scooter of the crew, and that just hurt me
Oh,
deeply.
That's like the meanest thing anyone can fucking say to you.
fucking
I'm
scooter
so
ass
sorry.
energy over here.
Oh God, it's because I do hold the clipboard. I make sure everything's still going.
You
The
got the glasses. You even kind of like you. Yeah. I see
There
it.
is
We're almost the same shade of brown. I know. God.
is there a band member that you remind me of?
Like Rolf.
No. I'd rather take Rolf. I'd take
You're an
Rolf.
animal.
Let's go with that.
I'd take Rolf.
Secret piano player. I love it.
Anyway, bombcast@giantbomb.com is the place to send your emails to. The emails for the show. These are the emails for the show. I'm not Scooter. Bombcast@giantbomb.com.
Something Scooter would say.
God damn it, it's true. Hey, Muppet Babies, the original one, still a banger of a show.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Archive.org if you want to watch that shit.
That is the first place that I learned about Star Wars. So
Oh yeah, the Muppet Baby episode. Yeah.
what was that, Bailey?
That's great. I'm sorry. That's just really good. That's like the first time that I heard that one song that's the Charmed theme song was as the Charmed theme song.
Oh God,
You know
what
the
was-
one.
Yes, I do.
I'm human and I need to be loved. That one.
Yes. That
Oh,
one.
shit.
God damn it. Okay. I also learned about RoboCop at first because of Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Sure.
Love that.
RoboMonk, I think, is what they named him. It was not as graphic as the actual movie.
Anyway, but not quite.
First email comes from Terrell from is PA Philadelphia? Who knows?
Yes,
no, it's Pennsylvania, but that's-
Philadelphia's not a
close
state, but-
enough.
I mean, yeah, you know, that in Pittsburgh. And
I don't
there's
know
nothing else that
nothing
matters.
but California and New York.
You don't know what the
You
two-letter
coastal
abbreviation?
elite.
You don't
You're
know?
one of me. Don't
don't-
even try and fight.
Wait, for real? You don't know?
I don't know where shit is.
No. Wait, I'm asking about the two-letter abbreviations.
Oh, Pennsylvania's never top of mind for me. No offense to anyone from PA.
All right,
Don't worry, buddy. It's
yeah,
not
there
for a
was
lot of
this-
people.
What's CT?
Connecticut,
Oh, that yeah.
Connecticut.
Okay, what's MO?
Missouri.
That's what I was. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Wait,
the,
is
two,
that-
the two coastal elite millennials don't know shit.
Anything.
If you were to ask
So-
either of us what a septic tank is, I can't answer you.
I'm so busy living within striking distance of the beach, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well, hey, wait.
It's
I
so
bet I'm
tough
closer to
for
the beach than
me.
you are, actually.
Ocean Beach.
Shit.
My beach is literally called Ocean Beach.
That's amazing.
All right, first email comes from Terrell. Hey everyone, I know console wars have always been a thing, but it seems within the last 5 to 8 years, it's reached a fever pitch of toxicity and negativity. Because of
What,
this,
in the gaming space?
What? Because of this, I am making a conscious choice to drastically pull back from engaging with the gaming community and industry. I'm tired of hearing about Nintendo having kiddie games, PlayStation games being movies, or Xbox somehow being in trouble because Starfield was only one of the biggest releases of the year. I'll play my games in peace, and that's okay. Smiley face emoticon. Have you ever pulled back from a hobby or interest because of the community or personalities within said hobby? Thanks for everything. Terrell from PA, sent from my iPhone.
I think it's. I think I probably have a little bit, but it turns out the real solution is just get off, because this is all happening on YouTube and Twitter. These places where people get rewarded for this kind of behavior.
Yeah.
Like YouTube has monetized it, has turned it into a business. It's a cottage industry to be someone who stirs up the console wars, and you can make a good living doing that. A lot of money you can be made by being that person. So of course we're getting more of it than ever, because you're being incentivized to do
Yeah.
that. So
there's never been a better time to be a huge piece of shit.
exactly,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can. Yes,
You're really rewarded for it nowadays.
So I just stay off of those parts of YouTube. I block the people on Twitter who behave that way, and that's the real solution for me. I get like if like it bums you out in general, and you're like, this is kind of tainting the whole exercise. I don't blame you. I get it.
Sure. I mean, it makes perfect sense. Like, I've not felt this because I just don't. I put on blinders to it for so many years that I don't like feel it, the weight of it as I did maybe 10 years ago. So there are tools in place for you to not experience this. Have I ever left a hobby because of the toxicity of it with it? I don't think so, man. That's a really sad thing. I don't think I've ever had that come to that.
Yeah, I feel like there's just certain online spaces I don't engage with. Like, I'm not going to even talk about gaming because, as we know, it is completely super easy to be a woman in gaming.
Totally.
But I will say that, like, I love K-pop. Jan knows this. We all know this. But I'm never ever going to talk about it online because that is a fandom that scares the shit out of me. That I can't.
They will rip you limb from limb.
They'll rip you limb from limb. They're like hungry wolves that love good music. I just love good music, but I'm not that hungry of a wolf, you know? So, like,
you can't run with that pack. No way.
I can't.
Yeah.
So I say I just stay separate. I don't engage with anything beyond the song itself, and I feel so much happier about that. I think there's just some stuff that, like, that's what it is. Like, the space is toxic. Don't go into the space. Enjoy the thing on its own merits and pretend no one else likes it except for you.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that with music, like there are subsets of fans that take things way too seriously. And I think people need to stop taking things so fucking seriously.
Yeah.
That's why I watch sports by myself usually because I feel like I take it the exact level that I want to take it, which it can be pretty serious, but I don't want to infect anyone else with my level of enthusiasm. And I don't want someone else who's like, who gets super upset to be bumming out my vibe. So I kind of like, I'm going to watch my team by myself in my basement, and that's where I'm happiest with it.
Perfect. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't know. I think there's just such a level of seriousness with like the entertainment we engage with that is unwarranted and outsized. Like, I do remember, like, when I first started working at Fandom, I was like hosting a trivia thing, and I was so nervous. And one of my bosses was like, Bailey, we are not saving lives here. And I was like, oh my God, you're so right. Like, and immediately just stopped taking any of it particularly seriously, other than in the I wanted my work to be good sense.
Sure.
Like, yeah. And I think more people who engage with this stuff kind of need to remember that, like, it's not, it's for fun. And if it's no longer fun, you're kind of not doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen this float around, but like there's a mentality that's been prevalent over the last decade or so of what about me? You know what? Sometimes, you don't matter, but
in
you
the
do
grand
matter.
scheme of things, almost statistically, almost never.
Yeah. When Grubb was saying the next Xbox is going to come out in 2028, I was like, we're not fucking getting that far. My tax dude yesterday I was like, hey, see you next season, and he was like, if I live that long, huh?
I love that guy.
Whoa!
I'm like, yo, chill out, dude.
Whoa, I know you're an accountant, but still.
Not tomorrow. What are you gonna do? You know.
And I was like, hey, like that autograph is really cool. It's for sale. Do you want it? Huh? I'm like,
wait,
hey, dude,
this guy sounds great.
Yeah.
Can I meet your tax guy?
I think we're having
questions.
I do want a tax guy who is clinically depressed, though. That makes them better at taxes, I think.
Trying to converse with this guy to send me my ID while he was at the Cheesecake Factory, trying not to be rude while Ben Starr is chugging a drink. He's like, okay, you want me to overnight it to Seattle? Okay. All right then.
Can we have a cartoon with this person? I think I need that. Man. I want this person in a 22-minute episode of something.
He has the most conflicting imagery on his walls because he has a red hat that says America is great. So I'm already like, okay, I don't know what you're going for. But then
sure.
But then next to it, it's like Black Lives Matter. And then I'm like, he has a photo with him and Obama. I'm like, I can't read you. I can't read you.
The America is great hat is like an anti-MAGA hat because it's like, no, America is great.
Okay. All right.
That's what I think, at least.
That's what I
Based on
hope.
the other shit.
America's like a
this person
C+
has.
student at best.
You're generous. You're
Like,
generous.
how are we measuring it? What's the metric?
It's
Because
like
know. I'm
Earth.
population
Great in my
happiness
gut.
is down there.
Oh,
we
sure,
know
yeah.
that we're not going to a university, so we're just not going to try in high school, and we're just going
Yeah.
to go straight to community.
We're coasting.
Yeah.
We are
Love
definitely
it.
the country
He's
that
got
flamed out in
degrees,
high
baby.
school. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we
Absolutely.
peaked in high school. Oh God, that's. I mean, that's my fear every single day of my life. But anyway,
America like peaked in middle school. It's even sadder.
You're not wrong.
damn.
It's
We had that one role in the play that we weren't even that good. We were just the
No, we
loudest
were just
kid.
the only guy who auditioned.
Bailey, stop
'cause we killed all
reading
the
my
other ones.
life. Stop. It's not my fault. I was the only dude in the drama club. Okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Paul from Tennessee writes in Mortal Kombat : the movie : the game has to be near the top of worst gaming subtitles. All right, cool. Thank you.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah, what the fuck is this?
I think he might be thinking Street Fighter, the movie, the game.
He may be.
Am I
Paul,
wrong? I could be wrong, but like I
I've
don't
never heard of this.
Maybe
I think
he's
they
just
mean Street
pitching
Fighter.
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that happens.
It's just like, what if you make that game and then gave it a bad title? Then I could complain about it.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Street Fighter, the movie, the game is an incredible title, though. I
think it's
always
great.
adored that. Like
That's
this
like
rules.
that's like some Spaceball shit right there.
Yes, exactly.
Anytime anyone has fun naming something, like I'm never gonna watch High School Musical, the series, but I'm gonna respect the hell out of it for being called that.
Hey. Season 1, pretty good.
Listen, I will listen to Olivia Rodrigo and never engage with her fans online, but I'm not gonna watch the show.
Oh God.
Listen, I love HSTMTHMTS. You back off, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Uh,
I'm so sorry.
I had to like really practice that in my head before I said it.
You're like, how do I say this
How do I-
aggressively, but not so aggressively? She goes to HR.
I'm still upset that they never did High School Musical 2 because I just needed bet on it to reach a whole different populace. God, anytime I'm never on a golf course. What am I saying?
And improve
Yes,
on a
we know
classic.
that.
Hey, we should go golfing.
Rich in
Yeah.
Seattle writes in with a request. Mike, if you're listening, feel free to pop in at any time. Rich in Seattle writes in, Jan, please sing this in Mitch's style. I dug my key into the side of his pretty little souped up four-wheel drive, carved my name into his leather seats. All right, that's all I'm going to sing for you. I can't get in on the shout-outs because of work, but
Oh, God.
Ask and you shall receive.
Hi.
That's not the words.
I took they continue to write in. I can't get in the shoutouts because of work. I'd appreciate if this gets on the show. Mike, do you want to finish the stanza here?
Yeah, where were you? Because I
took a Louisville
I took a
Slugger.
Louisville Slugger.
Both headlines, dug a hole and awful tires.
Sounds
Maybe
great.
next time think before he cheats.
Yeah,
Thank you.
or he'll put his car in the garage, right? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Okay.
Thank you,
Just
Mike.
can't shoot whiskey.
Carrie is here. She's with us on this podcast. We're so lucky.
Like she's in the room with me. It's amazing.
Amazing.
My favorite not my favorite runner-up of American Idol.
Who's
Anyway,
your favorite runner-up?
it was Clay Aiken until he got kind of creepy.
Well, he kind of started that
What was
way.
that guy's name? Bo Bice?
Oh, Bice. Oh, he's
Yeah.
back.
Dan, I think somebody corrected you before on this, and I think it's true. I think Carrie Underwood won American Idol.
Pretty
I
sure.
swear she was the same season as Ruben Studdard, and Ruben Studdard won.
No, that was Clay Aiken and
Yeah.
Ruben Studdard, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Clay
he
Aiken
was
was
one in
the
Clay.
Carrie
first one.
Underwood
you're
not in
getting-
that same season?
No,
Yeah,
she wasn't.
She won.
Yeah.
Huh.
She for sure
Yeah, you
won.
should learn more about music like me.
That is the most hurtful thing anyone has ever said to me.
Yep.
Oh, God. Okay.
Okay. All right. Florianopolis. Oh, wait, that's where they're from. Eduardo from Florianopolis, Brazil, writes in, Dear Bomb Flowers, after 485 hours spread across 4 months, I'm proud to say my Tears of the Kingdom map screen says I've reached the 100% completion mark,
Wow.
which involves finding all of the locations and Korok seeds, amongst other things. I've also gone on to take care of things that didn't count towards the game's completion percentage, such as getting all stable rewards, 228 recipes, 29 paraglider skins, and 6 monster medals for defeating all 249 monsters, as well as completing every quest and adventure and fully upgrading all sage vows, available pieces of armor and energy cells, and finding all the bubble frogs. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Michael Bublé frog.
I needed a place to brag about it, and you have the perfect cast of lovable goobers for this, including Uber Goober himself, Dan Reichert. Anyway, you can be the Uber Goober too. Anyway, have you ever been obsessed with a game to this degree? If not, do you think there's ever going to be a title that aligns with your taste in gaming so much that you won't put it down until you have done every last thing there is to do in it? Or are you in a position where games just come and go, you'll never desperately fall in love with one anymore? Kisses on the cheek. Mwah. Eduardo.
That ended on a really melancholy note, actually.
Yeah, I can't feel anything anymore. I burn twice as hot, but for half as long. Like I've definitely had like games where I played that for a month and I put like 250 hours in a month in a game. But that doesn't happen very often because I got a lot going on. I got a lot of games I'm trying to play. But yeah,
I'm here for a good, not a long time.
Right. I get like hyper fixated on a game. Like I just am all about that game and nothing but that game for like a week, and then I'll, for some reason, will be pulled out of it. Either something happens in the game that I can't get past, or I just don't like, or I just have to play a new game for work, and then I'm like, okay, for work reasons, I must move my fixation to this now.
Yeah.
But like Inscription for me, like I was obsessed with it, could not stop playing it, was not getting enough sleep because I was playing Inscription late into the night. And then I like just read some stuff about the back end that I thought was kind of stupid. And then immediately the spell was broken and I was into Slay the Spire. And it, it's just, but that's my last one where I was like just trying to find every single card and beat every single achievement. And that's the most recent one for me, was definitely Inscription for sure. That's my answer. And also I'm sad I haven't played Inscription in so long and I have literally no desire to anymore.
Oh, did you beat it though, right?
Yeah, no, I was in the Casey's mod part of it.
Hell yeah.
Of course I
feel like I was going to say, I feel like I'm always on the lookout for something like that. Like that's the thing. Like I'm always there's a part of me that's always cautiously optimistic, like I'm going to find the one that does it to me. And I don't it just never happens. I think it's a combination of like nothing can really contain my interest for that long. I think a lot of I do think Remedy stuff it probably gets the closest for me, like a Control where I'm like I need to do as much as I can of this thing. But I don't think I've ever really had that like 100% thing. I think it's also a byproduct of just like
time,
my personal life, and how it just can't lend itself to something like that at this point in my life.
Yeah, completing the game has just never done it for me. Like 100%ing, getting every little thing, I don't feel much for that. So for me, my obsessions are, hey, there's a leaderboard here, and me and my friends are going to be competing in it, and I will put 1,000 hours into that, and that's where I get my excitement from that sort of experience.
Did you ever beat Neon White?
No, don't need to.
Didn't. I got stuck on a boss fight and I couldn't get past it. And I was thinking about Neon White literally yesterday. I was like, why didn't I beat that game? And I tried to pick it up and do it. I was like, oh, because I can't get this fucking fight, and it's not fun for me. It's not fun for me anymore. So I stopped. But Neon White was so good, man.
That's great. Yep.
What a great game.
That first handful of levels, huh?
Oh,
God.
yeah. I mean, all the levels are good. Yep.
I got
Very
until first major character in game was killed. No spoilers, won't say who, but I was getting to a point where clearly a second one was about to be, and I couldn't get past it. It's very sad. Very sad for me.
I remember when my computer exploded because of the Neon White Open.
Yep. Let's try that again. See if we
That's
get this
right.
new
Oh,
computer.
all right,
Too
blow up.
anime, too cool and hardcore.
Too cool and hardcore. It was all the contestants. Bacalar, this email's kind of for you. Hey folks, question for our keyboard wizard, Jeff Bacalar. 8-Bit Do is releasing a mechanical keyboard styled after classic NES aesthetics. As someone who loves their products but doesn't know a lot about mechanical keyboards, is this a good bang for your buck? Amazon link. I love the look of it, but I don't know if this is a good starter mechanical keyboard for someone who does not know a lot about switches or does not want to get into detail with it. Alternatively, what would be a good mechanical keyboard for under $100? Thanks, heart emoji, Brendan in Rhode Island.
Back there, it's got
sick.
It's got Kale. I don't know. I've never knew how to pronounce this. Kale box switch V2 whites.
Yeah, those switches are fine. I think look, for $99 any mechanical keyboard, a price that is like a wild value just on its face. Yeah, I think like the aesthetic of this thing is pretty neat. Is it hot swap? Yes, it's hot swap. Okay. Yes. Meaning you could swap out the switches and add your own.
Yes.
But
hot swappable PCB, yes.
Right, but you obviously wouldn't change the keycaps because that is the whole aesthetic of the design and everything. Look, I think for $99 you're not going to find anything else. And obviously, knowing what we know about the quality of this company, like it's going to likely be pretty good or above average at the very least. I'm assuming it's not aluminum. The keyboard's probably plastic. So for me, I don't buy keyboards that are not metal of some kind. I just can't do it anymore. Unless I'm like building something for someone else. I usually recommend an aluminum keyboard. The heavier, the better. Let's be honest. So if you're looking for something sub $100, you're probably not going to find anything there. I think there's a couple 65% keyboards that you might be able to get in like the 120 to 130 range, which might do you well. The one they have here is called a TKL, meaning it's a 10 keyless. So it's got the regular 65%, then the F row, then the cluster of arrows, and then those like navigational keys above the cluster arrows. So that's what you're looking at for in terms of like the functionality. For me, I like a little larger keyboard, but I also do like that 65% compact. Yeah, I mean, I
forget how much of a freak you are with this. I love it.
Yeah, if you want to, I do. There are two vendors I think are really good if you're just starting out. One of them is Novel Keys, and one of them is Canon Keys. So go check out those two vendors, and they'll probably get you sorted in the right direction for entry level mechanical keyboards. This thing looks cool. I like the vibe of it for sure.
Yeah, it looks nice.
For me, the design is a thing, but it also is like, oh, is it going to sound good? And when it's a plastic keyboard, it doesn't always like sound the way you want it to sound. A lot of that is also dictated by switches, but hey, this ain't a keyboard podcast, right? We can't get too far down the rabbit hole.
It's all right. We'll follow it up with like a 5-minute coffee thing with me, and then Grub, you can get into whatever you want to get into. Bailey, you'll have 10 minutes. Trucks. Okay.
Trucks.
Working on my Type 5 as we speak.
Okay, fantastic.
It's sick. It's cool. I like the keycaps. I remember there was like a Nintendo 64 keycap set we showed everyone, right, a while back. I don't even think that one's out yet. Yeah. So this is very cute, and I would certainly put this on display. Let's just say that.
Sorry, I just see Mike chiming off in the chat. No, Mike. All right, this one is for. Well, actually, Grub could help out with this one. Hey, duders, my wife, and I are traveling from Oklahoma to Columbus for a music festival this weekend. Hopefully, you see this in time. Does Grub have any recommendations for good fast food to get in the area? I know Sheetz gas station food is one of his go-tos, but what else should we be on the lookout for? Also, if any other duders have some suggestions along the route, Oklahoma to St. Louis to Indianapolis to Columbus, throw them out there. Thanks, fellas. Keep on keeping on. Stan from Tulsa. P.S. If any other GB freaks are going to Lost Lands, maybe we should organize a meetup.
Sheetz, definitely try Sheetz. There are a few open in Columbus now, is my understanding. There was not when I used to live in Columbus. That was not an option. So definitely try that out. It's actually surprisingly good food. Skyline, there's definitely a couple Skyline Chili's in Columbus. It's a Cincinnati thing, but there are a couple in Columbus, and that's going to be like a local flavor that you should definitely try. I recommend the Coney dogs, but if you want to try the chili on the spaghetti, it's not my thing, but a lot of people really do like it. Beyond that, there's not a lot of local only. I think they might have a Swenson's Drive-In now. That's the really good burger place that we have up here in Cleveland. I think there might be one down in Columbus now. Get their burger. It's very, very good. If you get a chance to try that. But that's
Was that the really good burger that Hi Mike was talking about?
I wonder. I don't know. Probably not. But I'm going to choose to believe yes, it was. Let's just hope it was.
Okay.
What do you call it? A cheesy burger?
Cheesy burger.
Cheesy. I had a
Oh,
cheesy
okay.
burger.
It was not that burger. Okay.
No,
Don't mean to
yeah.
misrepresent Mike here. All right, that about does it for the emails this week. Once again, you can send your emails to bombcast@giantbomb.com. We got a lot of stuff popping off for the rest of the week. Jeff's returns tomorrow, correct?
That is correct. We are continuing the Cowboy Bebop Gaiden. My favorite 2 episodes of the entire series yesterday is what we talked about.
Whoa.
I don't know. It was mostly a popular opinion, but we get into it, and my God, do I love Cowboy Bebop.
Great show.
Game S Mornings popping off for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Voicemail dump truck this week. Potentially the end of Dan Play Sonic 06 popping off tomorrow on Blight Club. Potentially. Who knows? We don't know. I believe the idea is to play Party Animals together on UPF. Bailey, what are you doing on Friday?
Party Animals.
There we go. That's the answer I like to hear. Bailey, what else is
on
going?
Game Pass.
Not with you guys, though, separately, by myself.
Bailey just has like 3 other controllers set up and just nudging them occasionally. Bailey, what else is going on for you? You plugged it when we brought you on at the top of the news, but plug it again.
Might as well plug it again. Yeah, I mean, check out the new Honest Game trailer for Sea of Stars, Jan's favorite game. And check out the very first episode of the show I had wrote for Giant Bomb, along with Emma Fyffe, who is the host of that show, Reality Check, which the first episode is called Why I'm Sad There Are No Aliens to Romance in Starfield. It is all about non-human romances in games, and we did a lot of weird research about it, like so much research. Please watch. It's fun.
I can't wait. Go watch
also,
it.
I'm on Twitch. Just watch me on Twitch. I'm so fun on Twitch.
How do you research having sex with aliens?
Yeah.
There was a literal study called the Monstrous Desires study that we did a huge dive into.
Hey,
There's so much stuff.
Not
to spoil it.
Bales, have you ever read Animorphs?
Of course. Come on.
Okay. All right.
Out of here.
Okay. We'll make one episode happen then. Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. I'll put it together. Grub, you read that first one, right?
I read that first book, yeah.
More of a Goosebumps kid, but
okay, we'll do like one episode of Janimorphs and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's go.
Anyway, we've gone to the shout outs. Shouts out begin with Jan's tax dude. If he lives that long, I honestly hope he's okay. Emma and Bailey's new show, Reality Check. Scopa shouts out to that one episode of Charmed where a bunch of WCW wrestlers showed up as demons and they wrestled the Charmed ladies. Hey, Jan, go buy that board game for your partner and surprise her. Teacher's got a hard yo. Playing Mario Party solo is a time-honored tradition, and Bailey is a hero for championing people like us. Bailey, you are the voice of the voiceless. Nikki and Sean
say about me
for killing it lately. Great additions to the GB crew +1. Major Mitch for always jumping in and podcasts like some sort of Kool-Aid Mitch. Unity presents John Riccatello, the almost dumbest of failing upwards motherfuckers. Shouts out to the Rugged Cowboys on Yellow. Not gonna read the rest of this. Wingspan, the competitive, medium-weight, car-driven, engine-building board game from Stone Mayer Games, designed by Elizabeth Hargrave, and featuring over 170 birds, illustrated by Beth Sobel, Natalia Rojas, and Ana Maria Martinez.
Hell yeah.
Disney World was cool as hell, but Florida is a trash state, and building the happiest place on earth in a swamp with 50% humidity almost killed me.
Oh my, it's 100% humidity. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Brought to you by 7 Inches, the real eyes of P. Foam Stars hype. Rise up, my FOMO sapiens. Hey, Nose, fuck you. Nose, you don't have to take this abuse. Nose emoji. What happened? What happened, Bella? Why are you crying again? I know vampire, right? Vampire will fight to me. I trusted to protect Bella, but you did not. I will sure you die, Edward. I will sure you die from now on. She's mine.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Jesus.
All right. Oh, we should do a film in 40s with the Twilight series.
Oh my God. The first Twilight movie is a classic. We absolutely have to watch that movie.
Okay. I think I already know this.
Team Edward or team. Who's your team? Team Taylor Lautner.
Team that giant fucking fan that they put right in front of Bella's face in science class, and then Edward looks like he's gonna throw up. That's the best part of the movie, other than the baseball scene.
That's my team.
Grub, can you put up a poll in the Giant Bomb chat of Team Edward versus Team Jacob?
Versus Team Giant Fan.
Number 17 on the shoutouts. Jan is Professor X, Bacalar is Cyclops, Tam is Gambit, Lucy is Rogue, Bailey is Psylocke, Grub is 1990s Beast, Minotti's 1960s Beast, and Dan is Arcade. Audition in Unknown Wolverine, Halloween stream. Let's see it. Go.
Wait. Cyclops? First of all, you're the Cyclops weirdo?
That's what I thought was odd, you know.
And he's like a cop, right? Like,
we should switch. Nut Butter shouts out to my new close personal friend Chewbacca, dressing up like a hot dog and driving a hot dog car into a building and then trying to pretend like you didn't drive the hot dog car. Sweaty alien intercourse discourse. How about a board game group named Wings, Jan? Oh, fun. Dan is indeed the gonzo of the GB crew, a masterful showman and artiste. Why are there so many songs about rainbows and what's on the other side? Jeff Bacalar doing work on Podcast Archive. Thank you, Jerf. Duo film in 40s of From Justin to Kelly, the season 1 American Idol movie.
Okay,
we can't do that before we do Raise Your Voice starring Hillary Duff. I'm sorry, I'm gonna put my fucking foot down.
I just learned that Justin
Guarini.
Yes,
right?
he's little sweet Dr. Pepper. I didn't know that.
What? I don't know what this means.
So you know the Dr. Pepper commercials with the really tiny guy that comes out and sings?
No.
That's Justin Guarini.
Yes, it is. They were telling me in chat, and I was like, "That can't be right." I'm just gonna put the trailer, the video here, so you can watch it in your own time.
You know, they say that historically the runner-ups on American Idol tend to have better careers, and I can see that being true now.
Yes, for a little sweet Dr. Pepper, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, what has Ruben Studdard done except apologizing for the year 2004? Anyway,
lots to apologize for.
That has been the show. I have been Jan. He has been Jeff. He has also been Jeff. She has been Bailey. Tam was here, and he's going to continue to be Tam. And you at home, go step outside for a second. Just take a deep whiff of the air, and then I don't know, rate the podcast. Dude, that's a thing to do. Do that.
Rate podcasts.
Rate our podcast specifically. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, back.
Like next time you're on a road trip and like you're sitting shotgun and you're just like, oh, what are we gonna do? Talk this whole time? No. Just surprise your friend and put on
God's favorite podcast. You know,
burn the Giant Bombcast to a CD and put it in your friend's car and remove all of their other CDs.
But download it first because just give us a sweet downloads. You know, just give us downloads. Okay, now I actually want to do a Film in 40s series of the DCOM originals. Okay.
I think that would be so fun.
Bailey, which one do you want?
Absolutely has to be Smart House first.
We've done Smart House on this website before.
Fuck that. All right, fine. Stepsister from Planet Weird.
Now, you know what? Let's have two.
Let's just do Smart House again.
Yeah.
Wait, are these Disney Channel original movies that you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, DCOMs.
Okay, let's do Brink first because that's actually the best
We also
one.
did Brink.
Of course.
Wow.
Fuck.
Have we done the 13th year?
No, we have not done the 13th year.
Okay, Luck of the Irish.
We have not.
Okay. And again, I can't stop shouting this one out. Stepsister from Planet Weird. Sees a bubble.
We need to do Xenon because
Xenon Girl of the 21st Century. Yes.
This
At
is
what
the
point
thing
should
that
we do the Lizzie McGuire movie? The ultimate
sci-fi is my
DCOM?
passion, so I'm excited about all
That
this.
got theatrical release.
Dude. Oh, Lemonade Mouth. What are you? Okay, Nikki's age is showing.
Oh yeah, Nikki, you're like a generation younger than us. That's just after I stopped watching Disney Channel and it stopped existing to me.
Yes. That's when Haley Kiyoko took over as the token Asian from Brenda Song on Disney. That has been the Giant Bombcast, everybody. We'll see you for another episode next week. Till then, go hug someone, even if it's
Major
yourself.
Mitch.
Major Mitch. The real answer is we should do High School Musical.
I mean, yeah.
I met Monique Coleman once.
Whoa.